2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Do you hear it in the room? Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Check, test. Testing 1, 2. Is it? Test, 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 test. Testing, testing, testing. Test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Okay, so auxiliary send. It takes me a while to remember.
Hello everyone and welcome to Stony Brook Field in beautiful Brewster, Massachusetts for the long-awaited Brewster Whitecaps home opener. Thank you everyone for joining us and watching on Lower Cape TV channel 99 as well as streaming online via YouTube. I'm Aidan Doyle, joined alongside by Carter Woodeel for this home opener matchup between the Brewster Whitecaps, who come into this game 2-2-1, and the visiting Falmouth Commodores, who enter this game at 3-4. Falmouth, incredible offense. They lead the Cape League thus far in hits, doubles, home runs, total bases on base, slugging percentage, and batting average. Carter, Connor Higgins gets the ball for these Brewster Whitecaps. It's his second start of the year. In his first start on opening night, he was stellar. What does he have to do in this game to neutralize this powerful Commodores offense?
I think he's just got to stay composed, Aiden. I mean, he was such a calming presence for when he took the mound on opening night, gave such clean innings for Brewster to come out and start the season on a right note down in New Orleans. I think he's got to understand that with an offense that's been clicking the way this team is clicking, with a lot of unexpected players coming into the forefront, a lot of temporary guys coming and getting good at-bats together, there's probably going to be a run. He's just got to trust his defense behind him, trust the offense that Brewster is sending out as well, and just stay composed on the mound, which is something I think he's capable of doing.
For those of you who missed the season opener, Higgins, the lefty out of Arizona State University, got the start, went 5 scoreless innings, just 2 hits allowed, walked 1, and had 6 strikeouts on his way to his first Cape League victory, as well as being named the Coca-Cola Cape League Pitcher of the Week. What an honor for your first first Cape League start.
And I'm sure that it makes him feel a lot better heading into this start. We'll talk about the other side of the pitching matchup in a second, but not every pitcher got out to as good a start as Connor Higgins did. To come in and throw 5 clean innings in your team's first game of the year, I'm sure it makes him a lot more confident stepping onto his home diamond for the first time this afternoon.
And when looking at this Commodores lineup, Carter, who's the one guy who stands out to you? Names all up and down the lineup, all Americans, powerful hitters, high averages. They're just loaded on the offensive side. But who's the one guy who, if you're Coach Jamie Shevchik, you tell Connor Higgins, this is the guy you got to watch out for?
Well, I'm impressed with Marty Bikina, who's hitting 5th in the Commodores lineup today. He's a temporary player. He was kind of one of those guys. They have a ton of temp guys in their dugout right now, Falmouth, because they had a bunch of people go to Omaha. 8 of their players were playing in the College World Series, so there are a lot of people fighting for at-bats, trying to make a name for themselves, and so far Bikina's been knocking the cover off the ball. 8 for 24 on the season. That's a .333 average with 3 home runs and 9 runs driven in, and that includes a 3-run walk-off homer just a couple of games ago against the Harwich Mariners. He's a guy that the Whitecaps are definitely going to have to watch out for, which is a big surprise. I don't think anybody would have been saying that about him at the beginning of the season, but that's baseball. He's had a terrific start.
Bikina, 2 nights ago against the Harwich Mariners, went 2 for 5, 3 runs scored, 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Not bad for a temporary player, currently on top of the Cape League leaderboard for home runs. Bikina out of Michigan State goes up, like I mentioned, against the lefty Connor Higgins. When looking at this Whitecaps offense, they've been struggling to hit with runners in scoring position. Over the last 5 games for Brewster, they've left 41 runners on base. But they have a new addition today, Hunter Bishop, another Sun Devil, the long-awaited arrival of the freshman sensation out of there in Tempe. The center fielder getting the start today, batting 3rd for Brewster. What are you looking for from Bishop in his Cape League debut?
Well, it's always tough to gauge exactly how a guy's going to do when he's taken to the Cape for the first time, but he's a capable hitter. He'll add something to this lineup that I think they need, which is a guy who can get on base at a high clip. 363 on base percentage back when he was at Arizona State this past spring, and they really need somebody. They've got a lot of big power bats on Jamie Shevchik's lineup card. You know, the Mickey Gaspers, we saw it earlier with Curry when he was in the lineup, but they need people that can, as you said, keep the line moving, especially when there are runners on base, which is something they struggled with up until halfway through the game last night.
Bishop this year for Arizona State, honorable mention all Pac-12 as a freshman. Pretty impressive stuff for the 6'5", 210-pound outfielder out of Palo Alto, California. This Whitecaps lineup, though, and I'll give you the rundown real quick. Leading off, A.J. Graffinino, shortstop out of the University of Washington. He had a great day yesterday at Red Wilson Field. Went 3 for 4 with a run scored, but reached on all 5 plate appearances. Batting second, Connor Smith getting the start at second base. That's his 3rd different position that he's getting the start at some point this season thus far for the Whitecaps. And once again, this lineup brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn. Like we mentioned, in the 3-hole, Hunter Bishop, center fielder out of Arizona State University. In the cleanup spot for the Whitecaps, last year's Offensive Player of the Year, Nick Dunn, designated hitter out of the University of Maryland. Batting 5th, Kyle Daughtris, third baseman out of UNC Chapel Hill. Batting 6th for Brewster, Pete Schuler, getting to start at first base, the left-hander out of Kent State University. Batting 7th, Justin Coons, getting the start behind the plate after yesterday's struggles by Michael Curry. Batting 8th, Chandler Taylor, right fielder out of the University of Alabama. And then rounding out the Whitecaps order is Darius Hill, left fielder out of West Virginia University. He got the start yesterday in right field, but the one name missing from this lineup is Mickey Gasper. Our very own Morris Sheridan has more on where the Bryant Slugger is.
Well, guys, as you mentioned, Mickey Gasper will not play today for the Whitecaps. He's one of the best offensive players for Brewster, but in talking to Coach Shevchik today, he said that Gasper jammed his thumb in yesterday's game, and he didn't want to take any chances with one of his best offensive players. Gasper's batting .412. He went 4 for 2 yesterday, 3 RBI scored. But again, Coach Shevchik said it's better to just wait, sit him out for one game, and have him for the rest of the season than risk any other injury. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Maura. And Carter, it'll be interesting to see just how much that presence of Gasper in the middle of this Whitecaps lineup is missing. Obviously, getting off to an unbelievable start for this Whitecaps team.
Yeah, it seemed like he was the guy that folks could count on. I like what you talk about when you're talking about the presence in the order, because even when Brewster was struggling, I remember early in yesterday's game when the Whitecaps fell behind in a 7-1 hole, Mickey Gasper was still able to get on and drive in their first 2 runs when they were trailing 7-2. He's been that kind of presence early on in the season, a guy that's been able to get a hit when they've needed it. So it's a classic case of next man up. Somebody's going to have to step up in Brewster's lineup. Maybe it's the newcomer Hunter Bishop. Maybe it's somebody else. We'll see.
And that's one thing to keep in mind, though, is just how deep this Whitecaps team is at catcher. Michael Curry got the start yesterday. Justin Coons getting the start today. Pete Schuler, who gets the start at first base, is actually a catcher, just without a true first baseman. Coach Shevchik moving those catchers around. Even Christian Molfetta has played some catcher for Stanford University. So there are a lot of guys on this roster who can get the job done behind the plate. Now moving over to this Falmouth lineup that we've talked so much about. Leading off for the Commodores, Hunter Steinmetz, center fielder for the Commodores out of Missouri State University, one of the Bears. Batting second, Clayton Daniel, the second baseman out of Jacksonville State. Batting third, Logan Davidson, freshman shortstop out of Clemson University. Batting cleanup, Alec Blome, the third baseman out of Wichita State University, one of the Shockers. Batting fifth, the man we talked about, Carter, Marty Bikina, the right fielder out of Michigan State University, one of the Spartans. Then batting sixth, Willie Berger, designated hitter out of Missouri State. Once again, the second Bear in this Commodores lineup. Batting seventh, Jackson McGowan out of Purdue University. Then batting eighth, Austin Begar out of the University of Georgia. And then rounding out the Commodores lineup, Lee Solomon out of Lipscomb University, getting the start in the left field. Carter, extremely powerful lineup. We've talked about it again and again. At this field, right now the wind blowing out to left field, who in this lineup do you think it benefits the most?
Well, it's tough to say exactly. There are a lot of righty hitters in this lineup. If you look down the line, Hunter Steinmetz leads off. He's a lefty. And then the rest of the lineup, we got the switch hitter Davidson batting third, and the rest of the entire lineup is right-handed hitters. Up against the lefty Connor Higgins, Davidson's going to be batting from the right side, so it really is an entire team that's going to benefit from it. Of course, Davidson's the guy that you would point to. He's in the 3 spot. He's been able to do it earlier this year. Right now, 8 for 23. Still has to waiting for his first home run on the season. Bikina has 3 of the team's 5 dingers so far this year, but that's just one guy who I think can benefit. But clearly, a decision here from Jeff Trundy to try and load up righties against the lefty starter, and with, as you said, the conditions pretty favorable. And
we've touched on this Commodores offense already plenty. They can hit. We all know that. But pitching-wise, defensively, that's where Falmouth's had their struggles. For a team that leads in so many offensive categories, you'd expect their record to be better than 3-4. But no, worst ERA in the Cape League, 6.19, nearly 2 points higher than 9th-ranked Chatham. They have the worst whip, most hits allowed, and the second worst fielding percentage. The only team with a worse fielding percentage than the Commodores so far this season are these Brewster Whitecaps. Getting the start today for Falmouth on the mound, James MacArthur, the righty out of Ole Miss. He struggled in his first start, gave up 5 earned runs in just an inning and 2/3 innings, 6 hits, only 1 strikeout, walked 2. What does this Whitecaps lineup have to do to make sure that it's another start just like his first?
Well, the numbers are deceiving with James MacArthur. He's one of those guys where he's got stuff that's better than the numbers you'll see. He had a 4.73 ERA back with Ole Miss, but he was their Friday night starter for a reason. He's got a fastball that it sits him a low 90s, but it can get a tad higher when he needs it to, and man, he can slow it down with this slurvy breaking ball that can go high 70s. It's a really tough 1-2 punch that he can do, and when you add in the fact that he's got a nice hard slider to blow people away, the stuff is there. The problem is his command has wavered. He leaves some pitches over the plate. I think the key with Brewster is something that I think a few hitters in the lineup have done pretty well this season. They've got to stay patient at the plate. They've got to make sure that they wait for their pitch, and when they get a mistake from MacArthur on the mound, that they take advantage of it.
Doing the umpiring today here at Stony Brook Field, Dave Viveros behind the plate, John Leeds over at first, and one of my favorite names in the Cape League, Pat Sparky Burns, doing the umpiring at third. As some children make their way out for the national anthem, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, baseball for the Whitecaps home opener here at Stony Brook Field. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts for the Whitecaps home opener as they get ready to take on the visiting Falmouth Commodores. Connor Higgins has taken the mound for the Whitecaps. Justin Coons behind the plate. Leadoff man for the Commodores, Hunter Steinmetz, waits on deck as everyone gets ready to set the field. Let's take a look at the defense for the Whitecaps. In the outfield, it'll be Darius Hill in left, Hunter Bishop getting his first start for the Whitecaps in center, and Chandler Taylor in right. Across the infield, Kyle Daughtris out of UNC at third. A.J. Graffinino continues his strong play at shortstop. Connor Smith out of Western Michigan at second. and Pete Schuler at first. And the battery mates, Connor Higgins on the mound, Justin Coons doing the catching behind the plate, and obviously not on the field, Nick Dunn getting start at designated hitter. Carter, we couldn't have asked for a better day here at Stony Brook Field.
It is gorgeous. One of those picturesque Cape Cod afternoons with not really some rogue clouds over behind the left field, but nothing crazy. You're talking about that defense. AJ Graffinino at shortstop, I think, had an excellent day in the field during that 7-7 tie last night in South Yarmouth against YD. Really didn't have any highlight reel plays. Had a few different plays where he wasn't even able to get the out, but he's done a good job charging baseballs, making accurate throws. Sometimes it's tough to tell with a defender exactly how good they are if you don't see those highlight reel plays. And I think so far, Graffinino's been doing a good job at shortstop, and on the whole with Brewster's infield defense, I'm sure that's something that Coach Shevchik is happy to see.
Yeah, Graffinino, obviously a second-year Whitecap, coming back for his second taste of Cape League baseball. Really getting off to a good start this year for the Whitecaps. Well, Hunter Steinmetz is digging in, the only lefty in the Commodores lineup against the southpaw Connor Higgins, and we are just about ready to get underway here in Brewster. First pitch from Higgins, a fastball right over the outer edge of the plate for strike one, so the lefty out of Arizona State quickly ahead, no balls and one strike. Higgins working quickly, misses downstairs with another fastball, count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's one thing to keep an eye on. We noticed it in Orleans. Higgins, one of the fastest working pitchers we've seen, as he blows a fastball right past Steinmetz up in the zone, and the count moves to 1-2.
He's a reliever by trade, and he sure pitches like one.
Lefty-lefty matchup, and the 1-2 from Higgins. Fastball cut on and missed. Steinmetz goes down swinging for out number 1. So Connor Higgins picks up right where he left off from last Wednesday, exactly a week ago at Eldridge Park in Orleans, as he strikes out to the Commodores leadoff man, and there's one out here in the top of the first.
Yeah, just saying, here's my fastball, try and hit it. Steinmetz couldn't.
That'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Clayton Daniel, out of Jacksonville State University. First pitch from Higgins misses high and outside for ball 1. Daniel, a right-handed hitting second baseman, originally from Guntersville, Alabama. Swings, breaks his bat, hits softly towards third, fielded by Dodgers, throw on to first in time for out number 2. And they're quickly 2 down here in the top of the first.
That's the kind of soft contact that Higgins likes to get on pitches like that, where he'll throw that heavy fastball. Got the shattered bat there, but even if it's just one where he pounds it into the infield grass, that is the MO for Connor Higgins. That and those fastball strikeouts that we saw just before from Steinmetz.
He really located that pitch well over the inside part of the plate, jammed almost Mariano Rivera-esque right there on the corner, breaking Daniel's bat, and an easy ground ball for Dodgers. That'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Logan Davidson, shortstop out of Clemson, with 2 down here in the top of the first inning. Higgins through the windup and pours in a fastball for strike 1. Davidson so far this year for Falmouth in 7 games, off to a great start, batting .348 with a .464 on base percentage. And he hits this one on the ground towards short, fielded by Graffinino, throws to first in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go to Commodores in the top of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We played half an inning here at Stony Brook Field. When we come back, the Whitecaps get their first at-bats of the game. You're watching this game on Lower Cape TV, channel 99, and streaming it live on YouTube. Keep it right here. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Back here for the bottom of the first inning in Brewster, Massachusetts, as the Whitecaps come to back. Connor Higgins set down the Commodores 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning, and it'll be A.J. Graffinino, Connor Smith, and Hunter Bishop getting things going for the Whitecaps against the big right-hander James MacArthur out of Ole Miss. MacArthur standing 6'7" and listed at 235 pounds out of New Braunfels, Texas. As Graffinino digs in, and first pitch from MacArthur, a fastball that misses high for ball one. Graffinino coming into this game batting .500 on the season, 6 for his first 12, and he looks at a fastball over the outer edge to even the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
James MacArthur really uses all of his 6'7" frame when he's delivering, almost a straight up and down. When that fastball comes in, it doesn't have a ton of movement, but it looks like it's moving because it's coming up from such a high angle.
1-1. Just misses off the outer edge of the plate. Graffinino checked his swing, and the count moves to 2-1. Graffinino, one of the Huskies out of the University of Washington. One of 2 Huskies on this Whitecaps roster, along with reliever Joe Demers. 2-1 from MacArthur, fouled straight back into the netting. Evens count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Graffinino used to be a switch hitter, but after the 2016 season decided to just stick with left-handed batting, almost like Shane Victorino did, formerly of the Red Sox here in Massachusetts. 2-2 from MacArthur. Another fastball misses off the plate, and the count runs full on Graffinino. Victorino was a switch hitter with the Phillies and with the Red Sox, and then struggled from one side of the plate so much, he just switched to one other. Graffinino lifts this one in the air, foul down the left field line, out of play, so he stays alive, and the count remains full.
I think we'll see a bunch of that from the Whitecaps hitters today, lengthening at-bats up against James MacArthur with the stuff that he's got. It'll be interesting to see how the first time through the order these hitters approach how these pitches that MacArthur's going to be throwing at him.
Full count to Graffinino. MacArthur through the windup, and the payoff pitch once again lifted in the air, foul down the left field line and out of play, so we'll do it again here at Stony Brook Field. This Brewster team comes into this game, like you mentioned, Carter, a good clip getting on base. It's just a matter of driving them in once they get there. .342 on base percentage as a team, ranks 4th in the league. The 3-2 from MacArthur. This one lifted in the air down the left field line. Looks like it'll stay fair. Long run for Solomon. And he slips a bit but makes the catch, basically straddling the left field line for out number 1.
That's always tough when you're playing in a ballpark you never played in before. You got to figure out where the warning track is, where you got to go when you're running in foul territory. That was a nice play by Solomon to stay with it.
That'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Connor Smith, second baseman out of Western Michigan. One of the most versatile players on this Whitecaps roster, has gotten a start at 3rd short and today 2nd. He wears number 2 for Brewster. Righty-righty matchup between MacArthur and Smith. And the tall righty's first pitch off speed, misses high and outside. That one at 76 miles an hour for ball 1. 1-0 count to Smith, and MacArthur through the windup and deals. This one fouled straight back off the catcher Begar's mask, and the count evens 1 ball and 1 strike.
And that's tough when a guy starts you out by dropping in a breaking ball for a pitch, even if it didn't miss and get ahead in the, even if it missed and didn't get ahead in the count, still able to kind of change the thinking of Smith at the plate, made that fastball look a lot faster.
1-1 to Smith. MacArthur through the windup. Off speed cut on and missed by Smith. That one up in the zone, and the count moves to 1-2. This Falmouth team struggles on the mound have been well documented. 6.19 team ERA. 1-2 count to Smith. Fastball misses high and tight. 92 on the gun for that one from MacArthur.
There's another way to change what the hitter's thinking at the plate, right up at eye level.
Count even at 2-2 to Smith. MacArthur through the windup and deals. This one hit on the ground softly towards second. Charging is Daniel. Fields throw on the first in time for out number 2. And now Carter will get our first look at Hunter Bishop.
And this will be interesting to see. You were talking about how there are a couple Washington Huskies on the Whitecaps roster. Hunter Bishop was almost a Husky himself on the football team, ended up deciding to play baseball because he thought he had a better future there. But this is something I'm sure the fans here are excited to see. A newcomer coming in. We should see a couple more of those as the roster starts to firm up.
Bishop, like we mentioned, out of Arizona State University, originally from Palo Alto, California, listed at 6'5", 210 pounds. And the first pitch from MacArthur, a fastball that misses high for ball one. Bishop attended Sarah High School, which is the same high school as Barry Bonds, Tom Brady, and Lynn Swan. So a great athletic pedigree there at Sarah High School, as MacArthur finds the zone with a fastball to even the count 1-1.
So only the best hitter and possibly best quarterback of all time. Just that.
1-1 the count to Bishop. And the pitch. Off speed, misses down and away for ball two. Yeah, just unbelievable talent coming out of that high school. Reminds me almost of De La Salle High School in Los Angeles, which is famous for their football program. Really just all athletic programs, but specifically on the gridiron. 2-1 to Bishop. Fastball just misses down and away, and the count moves to 3-1.
Good take there from Hunter on that fastball at the knees.
This year for Arizona State, Bishop added 301, 5 home runs, 25 RBI. Played in 51 games. And takes a big cut at that one from MacArthur, but swings right through it, and the count runs full. That Sun Devils team went 23-32, but finished the season on a 6-game losing streak. He was second on that team in average, as he lifts this one foul and over the netting out of play, and the count remains 3-2. Bishop, a 24th round draft pick in the 2016 draft by the San Diego Padres. His brother Braden was a 3rd round draft pick in the 2015 draft by the Mariners. As Bishop works a walk, as MacArthur misses high and outside with a fastball. And so the Whitecaps have their first runner of the ball game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
That's a great way to start his Whitecaps career for Bishop. Second time in 3 hitters that Brewster's worked the count full against MacArthur. You know, a lot of times you see somebody step in for their first Cape League action. They're eager to knock the cover off the ball. They'll take some swings and pitches they maybe shouldn't be going for. And that time he's able to foul off a couple difficult pitches and then work a walk.
2 down here in the bottom of the first. Hunter Bishop leading off of first as MacArthur now moves to the stretch. Nick Dunn in the box for Brewster. Left-handed hitting designated hitter tonight out of the University of Maryland. Breaking ball for MacArthur finds the zone for strike one. Dunn, another second-year Whitecap along with Graffinino. Last year for Brewster, added 311, led the team with 51 hits, and was selected as a Cape League All-Star. 0-1 the count on Dunn. Runner goes as Dunn swings, lifts this one in the air down the third base line. Giving chase is Baum, and he makes the catch just before the ball falls out of play. So for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Whitecaps get a base runner on the Hunter Bishop walk, but he gets no further. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We played 1 here at Stony Brook Field. Still no score between the Commodores and the Whitecaps. It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now. You can purchase them at the merchandise stand at any of the Cape League ballparks. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support the Brewster Whitecaps. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field, everyone, as Connor Higgins back on the mound for the Whitecaps, and a first pitch fastball to Alec Blaum. Fouled back into the netting for strike one. Higgins set down the Commodores in order in the top of the first inning. 1, 2, 3, and now faces 4, 5, and 6 in this Commodores order. The 0-1 from Higgins. This one lifted in the air. Back into the netting once again, so Higgins quickly ahead in the count 0-2.
It always seems like when a guy makes an impressive play in the field, they lead off the next inning, right? We got Bohm coming in after making a harder than it looked play on that little looper toward the left side and foul ground.
The 0-2 from Higgins. Fastball misses high at 92. Count moves to 1-2. Bohm out of Wichita State University. Off to a great start for the Commodores. And looks at another fastball high, so the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes. This year so far for Falmouth, .385 average in 7 games, 10 for his first 26, 1 home run, 5 RBI. 2-2 from Higgins. Fastball misses high, and the count runs full.
I think one of the things about this quick delivery from Connor Higgins, it allows him to get over pitches like that. That fastball missed way up. And now, although we have Bohm calling for time, maybe a little bit of a chess match, but he as a reliever, he can get over that real quick.
Payoff pitch from Higgins. Fastball misses high and outside, and the Commodores have their first base runner of the day on an Alec Bohm walk. So that'll bring up what seems to be the man, the myth, the legend, Marty Bikina, third baseman. She's going to be getting started right field tonight for the Commodores out of Michigan State University. Higgins looking into his catcher, Coons, as Bohm leads off of first. First pitch from Higgins misses downstairs for ball 1. Left-handed Higgins comes set and deals. Another fastball missing high and outside for ball 2, so the count 2-0 on Bikina. Commodores in their black road jerseys today, as Higgins continues to struggle to find the zone, missing upstairs once again with a fastball.
It's a nice decision by Coons to come out and talk to him. He's left, I think, 4 or 5 of those fastballs up in the past few pitches. Needs to get back in this because this is a tough situation. You wonder if Bikina is going to be given the green light to swing here with the count 3-0.
Bikina listed at 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, and he takes a fastball from Higgins in the zone for strike 1. So not the biggest guy in the world, but yet still leading the league in home runs. So got some power in that frame as he fouls one off his foot to make the count run full.
He's a very versatile player defensively. He can play shortstop, he can play catcher. But in the outfield for the Commodores in this one.
Higgins comes set as Bohm leads off of first. This one roped down the left field line, but hooking foul towards the Whitecaps bullpen, and we'll do it again.
Really got a good piece of that one, did Bikina.
Still no score here at Stony Brook Field between the Commodores and the Whitecaps. Top of the second inning as Connor Higgins deals this one line down the left field line. Once again hooking foul. So Bikina just a bit out in front of that one. And the count stays full.
And now it's a tough call for Higgins. 2 good pieces of wood on those last couple of pitches from Bikina. Now he's seen everything that Higgins has to offer, and he's very close to making some solid contact.
Payoff pitch from Higgins. Breaking ball in there. Strike 3 right over the outer edge. Great pitch from Connor Higgins for the first out of the top of the second.
That's the kind of pitcher that Connor Higgins is. Very composed on the mound because that's a gutsy call. You've got the league leader in home runs up in a full count, and you decided to drop a breaking ball in for strike 3, and it froze him. It worked. That's a gutsy pitch.
I love the call. He had been having some trouble earlier in the inning, finding the zone with his fastball. Don't obviously want to walk the first 2 batters of the inning. Went right back to the breaking ball as a fastball from Higgins finds the zone to the number 6 hitter, Willie Berger, designated hitter out of Penn State University. 1-0 count to Berger. As Higgins misses below the knees with a fastball. Count now 2-0.
It's going to be a tough outing for Higgins if he's unable to throw strike one. Really needs to establish that fastball for strikes.
This one hit on the ground, back up the middle, backhanded by the second baseman Smith. He flips the second in time, throwing to first in time again. What a double play by Smith, Graffinino, and Schuler. 4-6-3. It goes, and the Whitecaps get out of the second after allowing a leadoff walk. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We've played 1.5 here at Stony Brook Field. This is Brewster Whitecaps baseball, and you are watching it on Lower Cape TV, channel 99, or streaming it live on YouTube. Back here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts, still no score between the Commodores and Whitecaps in Brewster's home opener as we move to the bottom of the second inning. Kyle Daughtris, Pete Schuler, and Justin Coons due up for the Whitecaps against the righty James MacArthur out of Ole Miss for the Falmouth Commodores. Daughtris, right-handed hitting third baseman, leading things off, looks at a fastball high for ball one. MacArthur looking into his catcher Bigar, gets what he wants, and the 1-0 pitch. Another fastball, this one misses down. Oh, delayed call by the home plate umpire, and it evens count at 1-1.
It's always interesting to feel out how the home plate ump will be calling balls and strikes. We'll see how Dave Viveros' zone evolves over the course of this game.
1-1 count to Daughtris. MacArthur deals a breaking ball. This would lift it in the air down the right field line, giving chase is Bikina, but he'll run out of room as this one drops into the Commodores bullpen. So the count moves to 1-2 on Daughtris.
That really is an interesting slurvy breaking ball. We got a good look at it because we're situated right behind home plate, and it really does dive away in a tricky way. But that's something that I think would make it hard if you're a guy like Daughtris coming in first time through the order. You've never seen it before. Good job by him to just kind of spoil it.
1-2 count on Daughtris. Fastball misses high, evens the count at 2-2. Daughtris, originally from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, awaits the 2-2 from MacArthur, lifts this one in the air down the right field line. Moving to his left is Bikina, giving chase, and that one will drop just foul. So Daughtris retreats back to the batter's box, and will do it again.
We'll see how much the sun plays into plays like that. Right now, as we said at the top of the show, we've got cloudless skies here at Stony Brook Field. We'll see exactly how the outfielders can cope.
Daughtris, a rising junior. Full count from, or excuse me, 2-2 count from MacArthur. Kicks and deals. Fastball inside. Now the count's full on Daughtris. Whitecaps finally getting a chance to debut their white uniforms on the season. Had worn their teal uniforms for the first 5 games of the year, as Daughtris fouls this one back out of play towards the Stony Brook Elementary playground. Lot of fans here today at Stony Brook. Kids all over the place getting a chance to play on the Stony Brook Elementary Playground, which is right behind the press box here. Just a great day to bring the family to the ballpark here in Brewster. Full count to Daughtris. Lifts this one in the air down the right field line, and that one will fall out of play. So the count stays full. Daughtris doing a good job staying alive after falling behind 1-2.
Yeah, this is now the third at-bat and 5 hitters where we've seen an extended at-bat that's run the count full by Brewster hitters. They're doing a good job trying to make sure that they get everything from James MacArthur.
Daughtris batting just 167 so far, but his on-base percentage, 375, clearly indicative of a good eye on the plate. Appeal down to the first base umpire did not go, so that on-base percentage just went up another tick. Kyle Daughtris with a leadoff walk, and the Whitecaps have a man aboard here to start things off in the bottom of the second.
Another great at-bat. You know, the Whitecaps offense has been inconsistent throughout this season, but they've done a great job of drawing walks all year, and we've seen 2 of them for their 2 base runners in this game. It's kind of an equalizer for an offense that's having trouble seeing the ball or facing a new pitcher like MacArthur that's got great stuff. If you take pitches and draw walks, put base runners on, good things will happen.
Pete Schuler digging in now for Brewster. Looks at a first pitch that hits him, and so he'll head down to first base, and now the Whitecaps really have things cooking. Runners on first and second, nobody out here in the bottom of the second. You mentioned a good job getting on base. Coming into this game, Brewster was 3rd in the Cape League in walks with 23 of them. After the walks by Bishop and Daughtris, that total now up to 25, which if the Firebirds, who ranked 2nd with 24, have yet to, actually they don't start until 6th. They're in Bourne, so at the moment, the Whitecaps are in 2nd in the Cape League in walks.
Quite the race.
It's a race to the top here.
But that's an important stat. You know, you talk about team batting average is the one that a lot of times people will throw out. I think walks is more important than that because it's talking about this is just a lot of extra base runners that you can get that simultaneously makes a pitcher work. Walking a lot of guys, it's really important for a team like this.
MacArthur working from the stretch. Kicks and deals a fastball over the outer edge to Justin Coons. It's one of the few races, Carter, where people are walking. Oh, come on, you walked right into that one there. 0-1 count to Coons, catcher out of Gardner-Webb. MacArthur looking back, checking on second, now deals. Off-speed pitch misses down on the way, evens count 1-1 to Coons.
You know, I saw the twinkle in your eye when you were given the statistic, and I wonder what was behind it.
You know, it wasn't until you said, what a race. That's when it popped into my head. 1-1 count on Coons. Runners leading off of first and second for the Whitecaps. Commodores in double play depth. Breaking ball gets away from the catcher Begar, and they'll move up a base. So now runners in on second and third. 2 runners in scoring position for Brewster, and still nobody down.
And that one just didn't have any bite to it. It looks like just stayed right up there. An effort from Begar to try and get it, but just pushed it back to the backstop. And that's big now because now the force is taken away, the possibility of a double play is taken away. And now for Coons, his job has changed. He's not trying necessarily to get a hit. That would be great. But he's trying to drive in that run in whatever way he can.
2-1 the count on Coons. MacArthur back to working from the windup as Coons chases a fastball downstairs to even the count 2-2. Still no score here at Stony Brook Field. Bottom of the second inning. Whitecaps have runners on second and third. Daughtris off a third, Schuler off second. Nobody out, and a 2-2 count on Justin Coons, who fouls one straight back to the backstop and stays alive. Count remains 2-2. Justin Coons, originally from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Like you mentioned, and I believe the first game he appeared in, not where Wake Forest University is. That's in Winston-Salem. 2-2 count. Once again, fouled straight back. So Coons doing a good job staying alive against MacArthur. Really working MacArthur. The Whitecaps, as a team, doing a good job making MacArthur throw a lot of pitches. That's his 38th pitch of the game thus far. Righty looking into his catcher, Begar. Now gets what he wants, and the 2-2. Breaking ball. Coons just gets a piece of it and once again stays alive.
Terrific job by these Whitecaps hitters just battling. We haven't seen a hit yet from Brewster. We've seen 3 base runners and 2 walks and a hit batsman. But they've put together some good at-bats just trying to spoil the stuff they've been given from MacArthur.
It's the 7th pitch of the at-bat to Coons. 2-2 count. 2 runners in scoring position, so a chance for Brewster to do some damage early on here in the bottom of the 2nd. And the pitch from MacArthur, this one fouled off towards the Commodores dugout. So another foul ball.
Yeah, talk about protecting the plate there from Coons. That's the 2nd pitch that was down in the dirt that he decided to wave at.
And now the catcher, Bigar, will go out and have a chat with his tall righty.
And one effect that I think this could have is now the majority of the Whitecaps players, when they come up for the 2nd time, when MacArthur is working through the lineup for the 2nd time in this game, they've seen every pitch that he has. He's one of those pitchers that's got a lot of different stuff that he can throw at you, the fastball, the slurve, the slider, and most of the hitters on this Brewster lineup have now seen all of those pitches. So it'll be interesting to see once the Whitecaps get to the 2nd time through the order how those hitters adjust, and maybe if we see some harder contact.
I think we've seen that from this Whitecaps lineup really the 2nd time or even the 3rd time through. And it looks like now they will bring out the Commodores trainer, as it appears MacArthur may be having a health issue. Actually, no, it looks like may have been the foul ball off of Bigar's throwing hand. So his right hand may have been hit by a foul ball by Coons. And now the Commodores trainer out to the mound to take a look at the catcher out of the University of Georgia.
Yeah, the baseball bat was in that area too. It was a pitch that was down and away right towards the right-handed Coons as he shakes it out here, trying to, I guess, get some feeling back in it. That's important for a catcher to have, certainly.
Bigar, one of 2 Georgia catchers here at Stony Brook Field today. Michael Curry, who got the start behind the dish yesterday for the Whitecaps, also a Bulldog backstop. Although Coach Shevchik envisions Curry getting the majority of his playing time here in Brewster at designated hitter. A very good offensive catcher is Curry.
One of the more intriguing lineup questions that Coach Shevchik's going to have all season is where he plays all those catchers we were talking about. Gasper, Curry, Coons, who is up right now, is a terrific catcher defensively, but maybe doesn't have the offensive numbers that Gasper or Curry can put up. It's a tough call.
So the training staff back to the Commodores dugout. 2-2 count on Justin Coons. Nobody down here in the bottom of the 2nd inning as Daughtris leads off of 3rd, Schuler off of 2nd. And the pitch from MacArthur. Caught on and missed by Coons. He goes down swinging for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Great job from MacArthur after that long layoff to come in with a nice breaking ball to foil Coons. Maybe seeing, that he had gone after a lot of different pitches, Bigar and MacArthur kind of deciding, let's give him something that'll just tail away. And he chases it.
You got to imagine it also affects Coons having that time in between pitches because he had been doing such a good job staying alive, working the count, fouling pitches off. Then all of a sudden this interruption to both players' rhythm, and MacArthur wins the battle. So that'll bring up number 8 hitter Chandler Taylor, who hits one on the ground foul towards the Commodores dugout. Count moves to 0-1. Taylor, right fielder out of the University of Alabama. Off to a rough start with the Whitecaps. Just 1 for his first 11, but has 2 runs scored and an RBI. Getting the start today in right field for Coach Shevchik's team. And now Taylor will call time.
Both of those came against Hyannis, right? Wasn't it the 2nd game of the season for Chandler Taylor? Made a couple of nice base running plays in that game as well.
Pitch from MacArthur, misses outside, count evens 1-1. You are right about that. Taylor scored both runs of his season thus far at McKeon Park back on June 15th. MacArthur looking into his catcher, Bigar. Now through the windup and the 1-1. Breaking ball misses high and outside. Count moves to 2-1.
The location on that breaking ball hasn't been as consistent as MacArthur would like early on. We were talking at the top of the broadcast about command and one of the reasons why he struggled at Ole Miss and in his first start of the season. Needs to locate it a little bit better.
2-1 count to Taylor. Caught on and missed. Chased a high fastball, so the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Or instead of the breaking ball, you could just run a fastball up there. That'll work.
You talked about MacArthur's stuff before the game. And like you mentioned, really the only problem he's had is commanding that stuff. 2 walks and a hit batsman thus far. Whitecaps still looking for their first hit. Pitch from MacArthur misses high and outside, so the count runs full on Taylor. And this Whitecaps offense continues to work counts against the big righty out of Ole Miss.
And it's tough when you're facing a lefty, and if you're MacArthur, because a lot of those pitches to Coons or another right-handed hitter were missing, down and in, where a place where you might be able to jam a guy here. It's an easy pitch to lay off.
Payoff pitch from MacArthur. This one misses high and outside, and MacArthur walks his 3rd batter of the game. And now the Whitecaps have the bases loaded for the number 9 hitter, Darius Hill.
And so once again, here we are, bases loaded, 1 out. It's a chance for Brewster to try and cash in and have a big inning. So far this season, they've had trouble with getting the big hit to drive in multiple runs. We saw it last night against YD, where Cesar Trejo was able to break through with that bases clearing double. But they've had plenty of other opportunities.
And this would be a big spot for Hill, still looking for his first hit in a Whitecaps uniform. 0 for his first 7. He's reached twice on walks and come around to score once, but still looking for that elusive first hit.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
You ever been to a 99, Carter?
I can't say that I have. I'm not from this neck of the woods.
It's a good time. Plenty of them located not only on the Cape, but up and down the South Shore here in Massachusetts. Bases loaded for the Whitecaps. First pitch from MacArthur to Hill. Misses downstairs for ball 1. One ball, no strikes to the left fielder out of West Virginia. Still looking for his first Cape League hit. MacArthur through the windup and the pitch. Lifted in the air, foul over the Whitecaps dugout, out of play. Evens count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Hill did have a good game yesterday over in YD out in right field defensively. Made a terrific catch during that game where every run counted, wound up in a 7-7 draw.
This year for the Mountaineers, Hill an all Big 12 honorable mention. 1-1 from MacArthur. Off-speed pitch misses in the dirt. Nice block by Begar as the count moves to 2-1. Hill played in all 61 games for West Virginia this year, batted .307, 75 hits, 39 runs, 4 home runs, and 46 RBI. Originally from Dallas, Texas. And he lifts this one in the air, foul once again over the Whitecaps dugout. Count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was a pitch you could have gotten some wood on. That was right down the middle of the plate. One of those pitches where you're thinking that you can drive that into the gap to score a few runs, but just under it enough to spoil it, send it foul.
Well, big opportunity for him here. 2-2 count. Bases loaded for the Whitecaps. Infield in except for the middle. So once again, double play depth for the Commodores. Corners in. 2-2 count. This one misses in the dirt, so the count runs full, and another full count from James MacArthur.
By my count, that's at least 5 from the Whitecaps in this game where they've been able to force a payoff pitch. This is the sort of thing that pays dividends not just in the at-bats, but later on in the game.
Payoff pitch from MacArthur. Lifted in the air out towards left, deep enough probably to get a run in. Left fielder Solomon underneath it, and it'll be Dodgers tagging up. The throw comes in, cut off, and into score is Kyle Dodgers, and the Whitecaps take a 1-0 lead on the Darius Hill sac fly.
That was a nice job by Hill to get that ball up. It looks like that might have been ball 4, a fastball that was above the plate. But, hey, that's a pitch that we've seen a couple of players. We saw Coons during his at-bat go in and swing and miss at a fastball that was up. That time he was able to do the job, but he needed just take it, lift it out to left field, and give the Whitecaps the 1-0 advantage.
And now back to the top of the lineup for Brewster. A.J. Graffinino, shortstop out of the University of Washington, digs in for Brewster. Runners on first and second for the Whitecaps here with 2 down in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Pitch from MacArthur. Took a little off that one, but found the zone for strike one.
That's the sort of pitch that James MacArthur is going to want to throw a little bit more often to establish the zone with strike one. They're using the off-speed pitch, but you can see him driving the fastball there as well. Doing that, getting ahead, it helps you avoid those 3-2 counts that we've been seeing a lot of so far today.
0-1 from MacArthur. Another off-speed pitch. This one finds the inner half of the plate. And Graffinino quickly behind 0-2. Graffinino 0 for 1 today. Flew out to left to start things off in the bottom of the first inning for Brewster. Pete Schuler leading off of second. Chandler Taylor off of first. And the 0-2 from MacArthur. This one lifted in the air down the left field line. Slicing out of play, and Solomon will give up the chase as this one drops foul. Whitecaps on top of the Commodores 1-0 here in the bottom of the second inning on a Darius Hill sacrifice fly to left. That brought home Kyle Daughtris. And now Brewster looking to get another one with 2 outs here. Still 2 runners aboard for the leadoff man, A.J. Graffinino. 0-2 count. MacArthur deals. This one roped on the ground, fielded by the shortstop Davidson. He'll take the easy way by tagging second. And that'll do it for the Whitecaps in the bottom of the second inning. But they get a run on a sacrifice fly from Darius Hill. 1 run on no hits, no errors. 1 man left on. After 2 full, 1-0 Brewster over Falmouth. You're watching Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV, Channel 99, and streaming live on YouTube. Connor Higgins has been nearly perfect so far for the Whitecaps. He's faced the minimum, and he's back here in the top of the third inning as this one's lined into right field. That'll get down for the Commodores' first hit by Jackson McGowan, the first baseman out of Purdue University. That one roped into right center field, cut off nicely by Taylor. And the Commodores have the leadoff man aboard here in the top of the third. So just like that, after saying he was nearly perfect, he gives up a hit.
So how about that for the line score right now? For Brewster, 1 run on no hits. And for Falmouth, no runs on 1 hit.
Higgins' first pitch to the number 8 hitter, Austin Begar. Misses upstairs for ball 1. Higgins working from the stretch as McGowan leads off of first. This fastball finds the outer part of the plate for strike 1. Evens count 1 ball and 1 strike on Begar.
McGowan does have a little bit of speed to him at 4 stolen bases in 5 tries this spring.
Off-speed pitch from Higgins misses down and in. Nice stop there by Justin Coons as the count moves to 2-1. Higgins comes set, and the 2-2. 2-1. Misses high and outside, count now 3-1. Higgins having some trouble early locating that fastball, missing high. This one hit on the ground between short and third and into left field, so back-to-back singles for the Commodores by McGowan and Begar. And the Commodores are in business here in the top of the third.
And not just back-to-back singles, but back-to-back ropes. Those were both very hard-hit baseballs. It's funny, I was talking about the disparity in the line score, but those are probably the 2 hardest hit balls that we've seen by anybody in this game so far.
That'll bring up Lee Solomon, the number 9 hitter for the Commodores, left fielder out of Lipscomb University. One of the Bison. Nobody down here, and he shows bunt, takes it back as Higgins misses downstairs for ball 1. Falmouth had incredible success last year with players from Lipscomb University, 3 All-Stars. Michael Gigliotti, Brady Puckett, and Jeff Passantino, as Higgins misses high with a fastball. 2-0 now the count on Solomon. So you got to believe, after having that success with such a small school last year, why not go back into the well and try it again here in 2017? 2-0 count on Solomon. Higgins misses high once again with the fastball, and now it's 3-0 on the Falmouth left fielder. Three balls, no strikes. And the pitch from Higgins misses high once again, so the bases are loaded for the Commodores here in the top of the third.
And Higgins right now, I think this is, again, a nice job by Kuntz to come and talk to him because he needs to kind of reset here. I think I was talking before about the benefits of just his rapid-fire motion that he'll have on the mound. I think one of the issues with it is that when you're missing, sometimes it can keep things going. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be something to look at for however long Connor Higgins stays as a regular starter for Brewster, a guy who's so used to closing, coming in, throwing one inning, and then being finished, to see how he adjusts from inning to inning.
Back to the top of the order for Falmouth as leadoff man Hunter Steinmetz lifts this one in the air, foul down the left field line and out of play. Steinmetz 0 for 1 on the afternoon, struck out swinging in the top of the first inning, but a chance to tie this game up or give the Commodores the lead as he looks at a breaking ball from Higgins over the outer edge of the plate, and Steinmetz quickly behind 0-2. Steinmetz, originally from Springfield, Missouri, decided to play his college ball at Missouri State. Takes the fastball high and tight, count moves to 1-2. Higgins looking into his catcher, Coons. Bases loaded for the Commodores. As Higgins misses high once again, count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Higgins continuing to work quickly as he comes set, and the 2-2. This one chopped up the middle, fielded by the second baseman, Dunn. Throw on to first, not in time. They get the out at second. Excuse me, that was the second baseman, Smith. But they get the force out at second, but a run comes home, and this game is tied.
Good effort there from Smith to try and turn 2 on that play, one of those situations where you'll give 1 to get the pair of outs. But not able to get at that ball, just too much of a little dribble and not enough speed on it.
So now runners at the corners for Falmouth for the number 2 hitter, Clayton Daniel, out of Jacksonville State University. Daniel 0 for 1 with a ground out to third back in the first inning. And the first pitch from Higgins. Fastball misses down and in for ball 1. Higgins comes set. Runner goes. Pitch in the dirt. Nice block by Coons, but Steinmetz will take second on the play. So now Falmouth with 2 runners in scoring position and just 1 down here in the top of the third.
How's that for a trip for Steinmetz? You get your first RBI of the season, you get your 3rd stolen base of the year.
Daniel digging into the box for Falmouth. And the pitch from Higgins. Fastball misses upstairs. Higgins continuing to have trouble finding the zone with that fastball. 3-0 count on Clayton Daniel as Higgins comes set. And this fastball finds the outer part of the plate for strike 1.
It's been a mixed bag so far with that fastball from Higgins. We saw it really on fire in the first inning.
3-1 count on Daniel, and this one misses upstairs once again. So the bases are once again loaded for Falmouth as Higgins walks his 3rd batter of the game.
And so we've seen some of that, too, of the fastball getting away. And now, we were talking about Brewster cleaning up when they have a lot of runners on base at the plate. It's a similar situation for Higgins. Again, we were talking about it at the top of the broadcast. This is a team that hits well, that puts a lot of guys on base. There's going to be a run. It's about limiting it. Right now, just the one run in for the Commodores. Higgins' mind, he's just trying to keep a crooked number from getting up there, and if he does, it's still a successful ending for him because this Whitecap offense has plenty of time and plenty of hitters.
First pitch to the number 3 hitter, Logan Davidson, taken for strike 1. Davidson, the shortstop out of Clemson University. He was the North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year in 2016. And this one hit on the ground towards second, fielded by Smith, flips to second, in time, throw on to first, in time, 4-6-3. Another 4-6-3 double play for the Whitecaps, and they get out of it. But the Commodores tie the game at 1 on a Hunter Steinmetz fielder's choice. So the game is tied after 2.5 here at Stony Brook Field. 1-1 the score between the Commodores and Whitecaps. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and streaming live on YouTube. Keep it right here. We'll be back after this. All-Star Game weekend starts with the Celebrity Softball Game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Spaceman Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org. Back here at Stony Brook Field for the bottom of the third inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the Whitecaps order. Connor Smith, Hunter Bishop, and Nick Dunn do up against the righty James MacArthur as Connor Smith swings through a first pitch fastball for strike 1. Smith 0 for 1 on the evening. Grounded out to second back in the first inning. Righty-righty matchup as MacArthur deals. This off-speed pitch misses down and away, evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. MacArthur looking into his catcher, Bigar. Now deals a fastball that misses well above the letters. 2-1 now the count on Smith. Smith, originally from Midland, Michigan, decided to play his college ball at Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. And the 2-1 line at the right field coming on is Bakina, but that'll get down for the Whitecaps' first hit of the evening. Connor Smith with an opposite field single, and the Whitecaps have the leadoff man aboard for Hunter Bishop. A good piece of hitting there by Connor Smith. Got a fastball for MacArthur down and away. Instead of trying to pull it, just went with the pitch and shot it into right field. Jeter-esque, if I do say so myself, by Connor Smith. And the reason I bring up Jeter, Smith, like I mentioned, goes to Western Michigan, which is in Kalamazoo, which is where Derek Jeter grew up. And I talked to Connor a few days ago at Whitecaps practice as MacArthur checks on him over there at first. And he said before the season, Jeter actually came and visited and spoke to his team. And just what an absolutely incredible experience that was, getting to hear from the Yankees legend. Throw over to first base. Smith dives back safely. Close play. Hunter Bishop digs in. He's 0 for 0 in his Cape League career so far. Reached via the walk back in the first inning as he looks at a fastball from James MacArthur right at the knees for strike one.
We saw some great plate discipline from Bishop in his first at-bat. Lays off that one there, but it's called a strike.
0-1 count to Bishop as Smith leads off of first. MacArthur kicks, runner goes. Throw down to second is not in time, and Connor Smith swipes second. And now the Whitecaps have a man in scoring position with nobody down here in the bottom of the third.
Number 2 of the year, in 2 tries for Smith. Had a great jump on that play and picked a good pitch to run on. It was off speed. And now it's a runner in scoring position for Brewster.
0-2 count on Bishop as Smith now leads off of second. Pitch hit on the ground towards second. Smith moving to third, fielded by Daniel, throwing to first in time. So there's one away here, but the ground ball to second moves Connor Smith to third, and the Whitecaps' go-ahead run is just 90 feet away now here in the bottom of the third with one out.
And that's what folks will call a productive out. Of course, I would add that it's still an out, but it's a good way to move the runner over there, and now the job is clear for Dunn and Daughtris behind him. They've got to bring this run in. You're up against a great offensive team. You need to take advantage when you have a man on third and less than 2 out.
Nick Dunn digs in for Brewster now as Connor Smith leads off of third. Dunn 0 for 1 and looks at a first pitch fastball that misses down and away for ball 1. Dunn popped out to the third baseman Bohm to end the first inning. 1-0 count on Dunn as MacArthur deals. This one fouled straight back into the netting. Evens count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Left-handed hitting Dunn getting the start at designated hitter for the Whitecaps today. Hailing from the University of Maryland, last year's Whitecaps Offensive Player of the Year, as MacArthur misses outside and the count moves to 2-1.
I like the thinking there to try to drop that in back door and a little slurve.
MacArthur through the windup and the 2-1. Line foul over the Whitecaps dugout. And the count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One of those where you got to duck. We've got the netting here at Stony Brook Field. It's always interesting to go around the ballparks and see the decisions they make with the protective screen. It goes right to the beginning of the dugouts on either side of the field here at Stony Brook. Some places it's longer, and some it's even shorter.
2-2 the count on Nick Dunn. And the pitch from MacArthur lifted in the air, foul over the Whitecaps dugout, and he stays alive. Count stays 2-2. Two to Nick Dunn as MacArthur working from the windup, kicks and deals. This one lined into center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Smith scores from third. Dunn with a big turnaround first base, and the Whitecaps are back on top 2-1 after an RBI single from Nick Dunn.
Great piece of hitting. Just met that pitch right where it was at and sent it back up the middle. That's the sort of thing the Whitecaps could use more of. And now they've once again got a lead to protect. Failed to get the critical 0 in the shutdown inning, did MacArthur.
That'll bring up Kyle Daughtris, third baseman out of the University of North Carolina. 2-1 the Whitecaps on top after the Nick Dunn single. James MacArthur working from the stretch now. And his first pitch to Daughtris, line right back up the middle. Almost hit him in the head. Scary situation there, but a base hit to center field. That one was an absolute rocket. But either way, Daughtris aboard with another single. The third one of the inning for the Whitecaps, and now the Whitecaps have runners on first and second with 1 down.
Goodness, that's enough to give you a heart attack to see a young pitcher get that. That, I think, MacArthur was relying on his reflexes there. He got a great look at it. We're sitting right behind home plate, and that was headed right for him, able to dive straight to the dirt in the pitcher's mound. So fortunate that he's all right and we're able to continue this game. That is tough to see. Scary.
That'll bring up Pete Schuler, the number 6 hitter today for Brewster. was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. As MacArthur misses high with an off-speed pitch, 1-0 the count. MacArthur working from the stretch as Dunn leads off second, Daughters off first. And the pitch, breaking ball in there, evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Schuler out of Kent State University, looking to drive in another run here for the Whitecaps. As he lifts this one in the air, foul and out of play. Count moves to 1-2. After Schuler, Justin Coons waits on deck. And if he gets a chance, Chandler Taylor is in the hole for Brewster. 2-1 the score here at Stony Brook Field in the Whitecaps home opener. Whitecaps regaining the lead on a Nick Dunn RBI single that brought Connor Smith home. As Pete Schuler awaits the 1-2 from MacArthur, and here it is. This one lifted in the air deep towards left field. Going back is Solomon. He's at the wall. He falls, but he makes the catch as Dunn with some heads-up base running tags up from second and is into third safely. An interesting play out there in left field as Solomon continues to seem to have trouble gaining his footing here at Stony Brook Field.
Yeah, had some trouble. As soon as he got into the warning track, you're right. They teach you, they tell it to you in Little League, always go out because you can come in easier than you can track a ball down backwards. And right there, he went out just a bit too far, tried to make that movement in to grab it, and wound up putting his face on the grass there, was able to regain his balance. But hey, he got the catch.
So after some heads-up base running by Dunn, Whitecaps have a base runner at third as Justin Coons looks at a first pitch fastball from MacArthur for strike 1. Runners at the corners for Brewster. Dunn, like I mentioned, off third. Kyle Daughters off of first. 0-1 the count on Coons. 2 down here in the bottom of the third as MacArthur misses high and outside with a fastball. Count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. Coons, the right-handed hitting catcher out of Gardner-Webb in North Carolina. 1-1 count from MacArthur and the pitch. Fastball in at the knees, and the count moves to 1-2.
Well located right there at the knees. That was a pitch we saw Justin Coons the last time he was up. Chased a lot of pitches that were down below the knees. That time lays it off, but it was called for a strike.
MacArthur working from the stretch. Comes set. Kicks and the 1-2. Breaking ball cut on and missed, so Coons goes down swinging for the second time today. But the Whitecaps regain the lead, and after 3 innings, they're on top 2-1. But Connor Higgins looks like he'll come back out for a 4th inning of work, and the 3rd member of our crew, Maura Sheridan, has more on Higgins.
Funny guy.
Well, we'll see if we can get Mara's microphone to be in our range there. As for a moment, it looks like we lost her shortly after that started up. We'll see exactly what it is with Connor Higgins. He's looked terrific as we're getting ready to begin the top of the 4th inning. In that bottom of the 3rd for the Whitecaps, they get the 1 run to take the 2-1 lead. They got it on 3 hits, and they left 2 runners on base. The scoring play, an RBI single by Nick Dunn to drive in Connor Smith. And so the Whitecaps, despite leaving 5 runners on already in this game, we've talked about how many runners they've left on over the course of the season, have a 2-1 advantage as we get ready to begin the top of the 4th inning. Due up for the Falmouth Commodores, it's Alec Bohm, Marty Bikina, and Will Berger, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Falmouth. And Bohm will lead off. Bohm worked a hard-earned walk his first time up. That was A leadoff walk in the second inning wound up being canceled out by a double play. We've seen a couple nice double plays from the Brewster Whitecaps middle infield today, both of them ground balls to the second baseman, Smith. Smith and Graffinino have really been the bright spots defensively for Brewster as the first pitch is low. No, it's called a strike by our home plate umpire, Dave Viveros, So that makes the count 0-1. Carter Woodeel and Aiden Doyle here with you. Mara Sheridan, the third member of our crew. You have to hear from her soon. And Higgins will deal 0-1. The pitch, swing and a miss. That one just fell off the table, didn't it? An off-speeder. The count is 0-2 as Bohm swings and misses there. Thank you so much for tuning into this game on Lower Cape TV. Huge thank you to everybody who puts this broadcast together. It's great to have the live pictures up on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and on our YouTube stream. To everybody watching, so great to have you here for the home opener. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from the lefty. Swing and a miss. He got him. A 3-pitch strikeout for Connor Higgins. That's the way to get started after you had a rough inning in the previous frame. And so it's now one gone.
Well, just a nice sequence there by Higgins to get Bohm. I mean, he's got good stuff. It's just a matter of staying composed out there and locating it. There we saw him at peak Connor Higgins, and he's shown flashes of it today. That's his third strikeout. It's just a matter of controlling it. You know, obviously having some issues located in that fastball, leaving it up, but a good job there to get Bohm.
The pitch is low and away to Marty Bikina to begin his second at-bat. Bikina swung, well, it took a curveball, for strike number 3 looking. His first time up, 1-0 pitches. Another one that misses up high. That looked like a breaking ball that didn't bite. We've seen a couple of those from both Higgins and MacArthur so far in this game. Higgins, the rising junior out of Warfield, Pennsylvania, the hurler for Arizona State. The pitch to the righty is taken outside for strike 1. That one caught the corner on another off-speed pitch from Higgins. And here comes the 2-1 pitch, swung and a soft looper right to the third baseman, Datras, who puts it away for out number 2. Right place, right time there for Kyle at third. And there are 2 gone here in the top of the 4th.
And that's another way when Connor Higgins can be at his best, when he's locating it on the edges of the plate, not just, throwing strikes, but locating it on the corners, forcing that soft contact. He's obviously not going to strike everyone out, but it's a matter of limiting the hard contact there. A perfect example. Just a soft looper to the third baseman, Datras.
First pitch up and away to Willie Berger, the infielder out of Penn State, who was the DH on Jeff Trundy's lineup card for this one. And now a swing and a miss on a fastball, and the count is 1-1. That fastball for Higgins has been decidedly up and down in this game. It was all up in his opening night start. 1-1 pitch is outside as he misses with the fastball there to make it 2-1 now on Berger. It's been a combination of that. It has just enough run, just enough movement on it to get swings and misses. If he locates it, like you were saying, Aiden, if he can paint the corners with it. Here comes the 2-1. And it's in there for a strike on the outside corner. Shaking his head is Will Berger. Not a huge fan of that call from Dave Viveros behind the plate. Here comes the 2-2 from the lefty. Swung in a high foul toward the right side and out of play. Berger, a rising junior out of Maytown, Pennsylvania, went to Lancaster Catholic High School in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The swing and a miss. He got him, strike 3. So Connor Higgins looking like he did in the first frame, all on top of those Falmouth hitters. That is his 4th strikeout of this game, and we are through 3.5 innings of play. It is 2-1 Brewster as the Commodores go down in order. You're listening and watching to Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and on YouTube. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development online at www.curry.edu. Back at the home opener, Stony Brook Field in Brewster, the Whitecaps ahead by a score of 2-1. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 for the Whitecaps in the bottom of the fourth. Chandler Taylor, Darius Hill, and Graffinino. As Taylor is ready to dig in from the left side up against James MacArthur. The tall righty out of Ole Miss has been inconsistent with his command so far. Had a rough outing to start off his Cape League career on opening night. Here comes the first pitch to the lefty Taylor. It's down in the dirt. Taylor, his first time up, drew a walk. Wound up being canceled out on that fielder's choice that ended that second inning where the Whitecaps scored their first run. The pitch is up high. That one didn't have any bite to it again, and the count is 2-0. We've seen a handful of those from MacArthur so far in this game. Just hasn't been able to get quite into a rhythm. For Higgins, for Brewster, he's been able to get into a groove for several hitters at a time. Not so much for MacArthur. The pitch is hit high in the air toward the left side. That one's getting out into left center field. Underneath it is Solomon, and he makes the grab for out number 1. That one really just got under that for Taylor. I'm surprised that went as far out as it did, out to straightaway left.
Well, Taylor's got surprising power. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he is built, and we've seen him in batting practice just launching balls into right field and just, putting them into the trees. He's got surprising power for not the biggest guy in the world, and now it's Connor Eason on the mound for the Commodores, not James MacArthur anymore.
Pitch down and away for ball 1 to start off the at-bat for Darius Hill. Eason, a lefty out of Seminole State College. Rising junior from Chesapeake, Virginia. The 1-0. Swan hit hard out to center field. On the run is Steinmetz moving to his right. He looks up and it's off the base of the wall. Rounding first and heading into second with a standing double is Darius Hill. And the 9-hitter's having a strong day so far. Had the sac fly in the second. And now a 2-bagger with 1 out in the 4th.
Yeah, Hills looked like a completely different hitter up there at the plate today compared to his first few games. Double to center field, well hit. Steinmetz took a unusual route to that one, to put it nicely. Kind of ran to his right, lost it in the sun a bit, then turned back, just kind of threw up his glove, flailing his arm over his head. But a nice piece of hitting there by Hill, and like you mentioned, the sacrifice fly in the bottom of the second to give the Whitecaps what was then a 1-0 lead.
And now it's back to the top of the Brewster order as we're getting ready to begin the third time through the Whitecaps order, with the Whitecaps ahead 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning, starting with Graffinino. And the first pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner. That one ran away, started middle of the plate, and then moved out just a touch toward the outside corner to the lefty hitter. Graffinino standing in. The runner on second is Darius Hill. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. Same pitch in there for strike number 2 on the outside corner. It looks like our home plate up, Dave Viveros, is being a little generous with the corners so far in this game, but he's been very consistent with it. And the count's 0-2. Holding the set now is Eason. Checks the runner at second base. Here's the pitch. Swan and a soft ground ball to the right side, fielded over there by the first baseman McGowan. He flips, but it's in time for the out. They get him at first base, and the eyes of John Leeds, the first base umpire, look from our vantage point that was a very close play, but they call him out. So we'll put that in the scorebook as a 3-1 put out, and there are 2 gone.
Well, Graffinito's got very good speed getting down the line. You knew the second he hit that it was going to be a close play. Eason, obviously being a left-handed pitcher, when he follows through towards third base, so it's a delay in getting over there to first base. McGowan fields it, and it's just a foot race at that point, and that time, Eason won the race.
So runner on second and 2 men out now as Connor Smith digs in from the right side for Brewster. Smith is 1 for 2 with a run scored. First pitch is up high. Moving to third on the play was Hill, so 90 feet away from extending this Whitecaps lead to 3-1. It's 2-1 Brewster right now, bottom 4. Waiting on the 1-0. Here's the pitch. That's down and in to Smith. Smith grounded out to second in the first inning. Singled, stole a base, and scored in the third. And has had a couple of nicely turned double plays at second base in the field for Brewster. 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch on the way from Eason, and it's up high. Another pitch that's missed high. From all three of the pitchers that we've seen so far in today, we've seen a lot of those. Eason, as I mentioned, out of Seminole State, played with University of Virginia in 2016, but a toe injury kept him sidelined for much of a year, and then he transferred. 3-0 pitch is up high for ball 4. Missed it again. Pretty much a carbon copy of that ball 3 pitch to Connor Smith, so it's runners on the corners now for Brewster.
And you mentioned Eason transferring. He loves the Sunshine State. One of the reasons, he's a big roller coaster fan. He says he likes to make weekly trips to Universal Studios as well as Disney World and ride all the coasters he can get there down in Florida.
I don't blame him. I'm a roller coaster fan too, so I identify with that.
I'm not with you there. I love theme parks. I love water parks, but I lose it on the roller coasters.
The pitch to Hunter Bishop is swung on and missed. Boy, he took a rip at that one, but it wound up almost in the dirt, and the count is 0-1 on the Arizona State Sun Devil.
And Eason actually, after this year, will be attending the University of South Florida, too. So staying in the Sunshine State so he can continue to ride those coasters.
And now another one left up there on an off-speed pitch. Looks like Eason's having trouble getting some bite on those breaking pitches. Got a good one to start off this at-bat to Bishop, but has left a few up in that walk that he gave to Connor Smith and even earlier on in this frame. 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed, and as I say that was nicely placed. Counts 1-2.
Just a great fastball there from Eason. You know he's got great stuff. Obviously, originally going to University of Virginia, a great baseball program, producing some great players. This year, 2 first-round picks and Pavin Smith. And
runner goes. The pitch is fouled away, and the count will stay 1-2.
Adam Hazley, former Orleans Firebird, was the other Virginia Cavalier taken in the first round.
Bishop out of Arizona State, originally from Palo Alto, California. As we mentioned before, he was going to play football at Washington. He had his heart set on being a football player there, was going to walk on, but then flipped to play baseball at Arizona State because he knew he had a chance of getting drafted and playing in games like this. 1-2 pitch just outside and up. Evens the count at 2-2 on Bishop.
This Whitecaps team has a lot of guys who played multiple sports in high school and excelled at multiple sports. Not just, oh yeah, I played JV basketball for a few years and then gave it up. No, these guys were multi-talented athletes.
2-2 pitch is just a bit outside. That runs the count full with 2 men out. It's first and third for Brewster. The Whitecaps looking to tack on another run. They lead 2-1, bottom 4. Hunter Bishop standing in, looking to get his first hit in a Whitecaps uniform. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hunter Bishop fooled by a pitch down and in. He slams his baseball bat into the dirt, knowing he got fooled on that one. That's the first strikeout for Eason, and he works a clean frame. No runs, 1 hit. They leave 2 on base to Brewster in the bottom of the 4th inning. We're through 4. It's 2-1 Whitecaps. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV, channel 99, and on YouTube. Welcome back here to Stony Brook Field, 2-1 Whitecaps top 5. And Higgins deals a pitch high to Jackson McGowan, the 7-hitter in the Commodores lineup today. McGowan has scored the only Falmouth run of this game. 1-0 pitches in there for a called strike from Connor Higgins. And the count now 1-1. Here comes the pitch. That's up high at eye level. Again, leaves that fastball up, and the count is 2-1. But we've seen a good job from both catchers tonight handling those pitches up. Behind the plate for Brewster is Coons. The pitch is swung on and hit well through the middle. It's going to get into center field for a base hit. Jackson McGowan is on. He has a couple of singles so far today. Now let's send it to Maura Sheridan with an update. Maura?
Well, guys, I'm told Connor Higgins is a very funny guy, but it was actually his coach, Jamie Shevchik, who was joking around with me in the dugout before the game. He said that he expects his left-handed pitcher to be player of the week every single week. Obviously, a very lofty goal. He was just kidding, but he did say more seriously he does expect Higgins to be a leader in the bullpen. He's already done that, and he expects to see more. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maura. Count is 0-1 as the pitch is fouled back to the screen, and quickly Bagar is behind him. A count 0-2 up against Higgins. That was another fastball left up that Bagar chased at. But a good day so far from McGowan. 3 hits for the Commodores, and he's got 2 of them. 0-1 pitch is a soft grounder to the right side. Smith will field it, and it goes right through his legs and over into right field. Stopping over at second base is McGowan. He thought about taking 3, but lost his footing for a moment. That's going to be an E4, and there are 2 on with nobody out.
Well, I think Smith was getting ready to rush that one, thinking he had a chance at turning 2 there, getting McGowan at second. Almost looked like he started to pick his glove up and make the flip to Graffinino at second. Just took his eye off the ball, and that one went into right field. They're actually lucky that McGowan didn't get his footing, because if he had been paying attention there and stayed up, probably would have been at third base.
Here's Lee Solomon now. Corners in for Brewster. He shows bunt and takes a pitch. They're going to say he offered at it, so count is 0-1 now on Solomon. Solomon drew a walk his first time, and that was in the 3rd inning. Higgins staring in. And the pitch. That one's a good bunt down the left side. Fielded by Dautris at third. Only one play, and he gets it over at third base, or first base, excuse me. Nice throw from Dautris over at third. But the sacrifice does work to perfection there. It's second and third with a man out for Falmouth.
Well, with Higgins being a lefty, again, like we talked about with Eason finishing towards third base, that could cause some confusion there between Dautris and Higgins. But a good job by the third baseman out of North Carolina, calling off his pitcher, taking charge, making sure there is no confusion over who's going to field that bunt. Dautris takes charge. Strong throw on to first. 1 down.
And here is the leadoff hitter, Steinmetz. It's lefty to lefty. The pitch is a soft ground ball to third base again. Dautris thinks about going home, but he'll throw over to first base instead. And a given RBI to Steinmetz, and the game is once again knotted up. It's 2-2 on an RBI ground ball from the leadoff hitter.
I actually really like that play from Kyle Dautris, because you don't have the sure thing there at home. Coming from third base, you don't know quite how far McGowan is down the line. If you don't get the out at home, then you only have 1 down, runners at first and second. Yes, you give up the lead here, it's 2-2, but you take the sure thing in the out, and now they're 1 out away from getting out of the inning.
That goes in the book as an unearned run thanks to the error from Smith at second. The first pitch is inside to the 2-hitter Daniel. Commodores still knocking at the door with now 2 away, with the runner on second in Bagar, who advanced there via the sacrifice and stayed there after that ground ball. 1-0 pitch, and it's low 2-0. On the day for the 2-hitter Daniel, a ground ball to third base and a walk. So 0 for 1 with the walk today. And the 2-0 pitch. In there for a called strike at the knees on the breaking ball. As Dave Viveros behind the plate is taking his time with some of those pitches, especially those slow loopers. And the count is 2-1. And the pitch is swung, just spoiled there. Just got a piece of it there to Daniel. Sounded like it thumped off of somebody's protector, maybe Coons' shin guards behind the plate. And the count is back even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a runner on second in a 2-2 game here at Stony Brook Field. Higgins shakes off a sign. Now gets the one he likes. The pitch is up high, 3-2 the count. Another big situation for Brewster. They've taken the lead twice and have it tied up once again twice by Falmouth. Brewster got a run in the second inning on a sac fly from Hill. But then Falmouth even things in the top of the third. 3-2. Swan, a ground ball off the leg of the pitcher Smith, and everybody's going to be safe. Scampering over to third and getting there safely is Begara. Now the run gets away from first base. Thought about going home was Begara at third, but he turned around and headed back to third base as it looked like the first baseman Schuler had trouble fielding that. Maybe didn't expect a throw to come his way. In any case, everybody is safe, and it's first and third with 2 out.
Well, A.J. Graffinito's got some of the quickest hands in the Cape League, but even he couldn't get Daniel over there at first, who's pretty speedy, so it would have been a tough play regardless. But really, over there at first, Schuler's got to do a better job of getting in front of that one. Instead of just trying to scoop it with the backhand, he's not a natural first baseman. You got to block it with your body. He's lucky that Begard just stayed at third base because there's a pretty good chance Falmouth takes the lead if that one gets even a foot further away from Schuler there.
Yeah, just in that play, it was very close because Begard was gunning and then decided to just reverse course and head straight back to third. Here's the 3-hitter Davidson. That went in the book as an infield single, and Davidson swings and fouls a pitch back to the screen to fall behind in the count 0-1. Davidson has 2 ground balls in this game, a ground ball to shortstop in the first and then hit into a nice double play in the third inning. They got the Whitecaps out of a jam. Very similar jam to the one they're in right now. 1 run already in this inning for the Commodores here in the top of the 5th, tied at 2. The pitch. Swan, a high chop over toward the left side. Dotris will field it again. He throws across in time. Dotris has a workout at third base going in these last few innings, but the Whitecaps are able to shut the door. Just the 1 run for Falmouth in the inning on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. We are through 4.5 innings of play, tied at 2 here at Stony Brook Field. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and on YouTube. Back at Stony Brook Field as we get ready to begin the bottom of the 5th inning. We do have 1 defensive change. Want to make you aware of. We have a new catcher for Falmouth as Josh Bro is behind the plate there for the Commodores, taking the place of Begard. And leading off the things for Brewster as he takes a pitch way high above his head and back to the backstop there is Nick Dunn. Dunn on the game has the RBI single in the 3rd inning. That gave Brewster at the time a 2-1 advantage, though Falmouth just now on the top of the 5th was able to scrape a run across to even the score at 2. The pitch to Dunn is in there for a strike on the outside corner. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Dunn hit a pop fly, a little looper to third his first time up. Makes a pitch in there for a called strike 2. That outside corner is definitely a tad wider than we're used to seeing in the other games that we've seen so far this year, but it has been consistent from our home plate ump, Dave Viveros. 1-2 pitch is down and away to Dunn. Dunn, the rising junior out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania. We talk about it all the time coming off that Cape League All-Star season. He was a freshman All-American in 2016. 2-2 to the lefty, swing and a miss on a slow bender, and Connor Eason gets his first strikeout since entering the game. Nick Dunn is down on strikes.
Well, I think that's probably the best breaking ball we've seen from Eason so far in his outing. Just started up right about letter high and broke down into the dirt. Really sharp break there from Eason. Dunn swung right over it and really had no chance. Even if he makes contact there, you got to believe it wasn't going to be very hard, and probably doesn't even get out of the infield.
Now it's Kyle Dautris' turn, who has shown some good hands at third so far in this ball game. Takes a pitch up high on a fastball from Eason to start off his at-bat. Falls behind him to count 1-0. Dautris out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the rising junior, and another one that misses up high. So it's 2-0 now on Dautris, who has reached base both times in this game, walked and scored in the second and hit a single in the third. .2-0 on the way. It's in there for a strikeout that needs to make it 2-1. You were talking, Aiden, before about the plethora of Whitecaps that were two sports stars, finalists for the Mr. Football Award in Pennsylvania here in Dautris. So many of them up and down Shevchik's lineup. 2-1 pitch. In there for strike number 2 on the outside corner. And the count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So after missing with his first couple of pitches from Eason, he's able to paint the quarter twice in a row to bring the count back level. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch to Dautris. Swing and a miss. He got him. Another strikeout swinging. Back-to-back Ks to begin the 5th for Connor Eason. There are 2 gone.
Well, this is a really good job there by Eason, changing eye levels, keeping it down low, and then raises the fastball up right about shoulder high. Dautris, like we've talked about before, the high fastball always looks better than it really is to a hitter. Tried to get on top of that one, couldn't do it, and goes down swinging for Eason's 3rd consecutive strikeout.
Now it's Pete Schuler's turn. The pitch to the lefty swinging Schuler is cut on and missed on a pitch that was down. So as you were saying, Aiden, starting off down to make the count 0-1 on the swing from Schuler. Schuler has reached base once in this game. He was plunked. That was when MacArthur was still on the mound. 0-1. Another swing and a miss. That was the same pitch again. And Schuler was fooled twice in as many pitches. So ahead in the count, 0-2. Here is Eason, who really has settled in. After struggling a bit in that 4th inning, he came in to relieve MacArthur at the beginning of the 4th. Here's the 0-2. In there for called strike 3. The catcher, Bro, knew it, and he jogs into the dugout. Strikes out the side, does Eason. 1, 2, 3 go the Whitecaps in the bottom of the 5th. We are through 5 innings of play, tied at 2. You are watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and live on YouTube. The Whitecaps would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout this summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. That's CCBL20. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. The day is done for the Whitecap starter Connor Higgins. He goes 5 innings and gives up just 2 runs on 4 hits. just what Jamie Shevchik, I'm sure, was looking for. And in his place comes Jonathan Stever, another Hoosier, the righty out of Indiana. We saw Paulie Milto yesterday against YD, and the first pitch is hit well out to right field off the bat of Bohm, and it gets over and off the wall onto right center field over the head of the right fielder Taylor out there. And getting into second base with a standing double to start things off is Bohm.
Well, welcome to the Cape League, Jonathan Stever. Bohm just took that pitch on the outside part of the plate and drove it out to right field. Off the bat, you thought, okay, maybe that one has a chance of getting out of here, and at least, you know, came up just a few feet short of the wall because it bounced, went right into the fence here at Stony Brook Field. Just an absolute rocket there from Alec Bohm.
Had to contend with the advertising banners out there. Yeah, seriously, Jonathan Stever coming out and gets hit hard to start off his Cape League career. Here's Bikina with the runner on second base. Righty to righty, the pitch is in there for a strike. Well-placed fastball there from Stever. Stever's fastball likes to attack with it. It's about 90-92, but his out pitch is his change. He's good at changing speeds, has a changeup, also has a curveball. When he's not throwing those, he likes to fill up the zone and throw strikes. 0-1 on the way. There's another strike for make the count 0-2 right on the outside corner again. So Stever gets hit hard on the very first pitch he throws against Bohm, and now throws Bikina a couple of nice ones on the outside corner.
Final line on Connor Higgins, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned, 3 walks, but 4 strikeouts.
The 0-2 pitch is hit well out to center field. On the run is Bishop. He's looking up. He's toward the wall, and it's off the base of the wall, and Bishop will field it out there, heading around third and scoring easily as Bohm diving into third safely with an RBI triple is Marty Bikina. So 2 bats in this inning with hard hit baseballs, and just like that, Falmouth takes the lead. It's 3-2.
Well, the first one out to right field, this one out to left center. Bikina, really, I mean, you assume with a guy with his power, who's shown it as much as he has so far this season, that one was going to get out of here. Landed right at the base of the wall. Hunter Bishop still learning Stony Brook Field, kind of took an awkward route to it, but either way, it brings in Bohm, and now the Commodores on top.
Bikina's in double figures as the first pitch is a strike to Will Berger to start off his at-bat. He's in double figures in RBIs now. That was number 10 on the season to give Falmouth a 3-2 advantage in the top of the 6th, and he's still on third base with nobody out. 0-1 pitch. Swan and hit well through the middle, past the diving second baseman Smith, and into center field. Scoring easily is Bikina. It's an RBI single for Will Berger, and Falmouth doubles their lead. It's now 4-2 Commodores.
Well, the Commodores have 3 hits so far in the top of the 6th inning, and all 3 of them have been hard hit. A single, a double, and a triple. Only missing the home run from the cycle, but even that one from Berger, infield in, so obviously the defense doesn't have quite the opportunity that they normally would to get to a ball in the hole, but that one was roped right back up the middle. I'm not even sure if they were playing back that Nick Dunn would have had a shot at that one.
Yeah, that was a tough play for him. And the pitch is dropped in there for strike number 1. And as that was in there to Jackson McGowan, sure you were talking about that imaginary cycle. I'm sure McGowan wouldn't mind a home run here, though he does have power to the gaps. The 0-1 pitch is inside. Count is 1-1 on McGowan. McGowan has had a great day so far. 2 singles, 2 runs scored to his name. It is 4-2 Falmouth as the Commodores jumping all over Jonathan Stever. So far, the Hoosier has given up a lot of hard contact. 1-1 pitch is fouled straight back. That looked like it might have gotten a piece of Coons behind the plate. 1-2 now the count on McGowan. McGowan hailing from Brownsburg, Indiana, a graduate of Brownsburg High School, mentioned the power to the gaps that he has. He has 15 doubles on the season. But something that he developed over this past year. He was slumping in the first month of the year, trying to swing for the fences every time. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. He swings and hits this one hard out to right field, but it's going to tail foul, and the count remains 1-2. He said he would swing to the fences a lot. He was swinging big and missing big. And then his coaches told him to kind of settle down a bit and just try and meet the ball where it was at and drive the ball to the gaps. And so far, he has done a terrific job of that since he instituted that. The final numbers on him, 292 with a 347 on-base percentage. Still at 8 home runs for the Purdue Boilermakers this spring. 1-2 pitch, swing, and a miss, strike 3. So Jonathan Stever is able to get back on the right foot there as McGowan went fishing for a pitch that was low. And there's one gone.
Yeah, amazingly enough, he's the only Whitecaps pitcher. Obviously, there only been 2 of them, but the only one to have success against McGowan tonight. Off of Higgins, McGowan was 2 for 2 and came around to score both times. Stever, who's obviously given up 3 consecutive hits before that, blows the fastball right by him for out number 1.
And now here comes Josh Bro, hitting from the right side. He swings and misses. That was a bit too fast for him on that fastball there from Stever, and the count is 0-1. Like a lot of the pitchers in the Cape League, strike one is important for Stever. Looking for soft contact, typically hasn't found that so far in this outing. 0-1 pitch. Called strike 2. Down and in to Bro. Bro is a rising junior out of Tomball, Texas. Hails from McLennan Community College, where he put up some video game numbers. 401 with a 473 on base percentage and 19 homers. Best on the team in that latter figure as he fouls the pitch back to the screen. 0-2 is the count on Bro. Bro has an older brother named Joe. They are indeed the Bro Bros, and they were taken just 9 picks apart from each other in the MLB draft. Bro was drafted by the Astros. It was in the 36th round. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. So Stever recovers after giving up a lot of hard contact at the beginning of his outing, gets back-to-back strikeouts of the 7 and 8 hitters, and there are 2 gone.
Yeah, just a good job by Stever there bouncing back. You look at how, especially pitchers, respond to giving up a couple of hits in a row, a couple runs in this case, and so far he's responded well. Amazingly enough, this is the 3rd consecutive game in which the Falmouth Commodores have faced an Indiana Hoosiers pitcher. In the first 2, they've had an incredible amount of success.
As the first pitch is in there for a called strike on the inside corner to Lee Solomon to begin his at-bat. Solomon has a walk, and he laid down a sacrifice bunt that wound up leading to the Commodores' run in the 5th inning. Takes the pitch up high. Solomon standing at a listed 5'10". That may be a tad generous. The count is 1-1. Runner is on first base. 4-2 Commodores. They have 2 runs in this 6th inning. The pitch is fouled back. That was a breaking ball that was left in the strike zone there from Stever. A pitch to hit for Solomon, but he could just spoil it, so the count is 1-2.
Like I mentioned, in their last 2 games against the Harwich Mariners, Tim Herron, Cal Kruger, 2 Hoosiers, combined for 5 2/3 innings, gave up 12 hits, 9 earned runs.
1-2 pitch is fouled back. There are a lot of Hoosiers in the Cape League this year. Some Hoosiers, some Michigan Wolverines as well. There are a couple on this Brewster Whitecaps team. Will Tribucher, one of the big arms for this club. Jamie Shevchik says he's going to lead on him to be a lefty out of the pen. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's how you recover from giving up some hard contact for Jonathan Stever as he shakes his head as he jogs off the mound. Gives up 2 runs on 3 hard-hit baseballs, but does strike out the side to end the inning. So it is 2 runs on 3 hits. As I said, for Falmouth in the top of the 6th, they leave 1 runner on base. We're through 5 1/2. It's 4-2 Commodores. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV, channel 99, and live on YouTube. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field, the home opener here in Brewster. It was delayed a little bit by that wet weather that we had in the first week of the year, but now the fans are out. It's a good crowd on hand and a gorgeous evening. Here's Coons to begin the bottom of the 5th with the Whitecaps trailing 4-2. He swings and hits this one high in the air to foul ground on the right side, but it'll wind up by the Falmouth bullpen out there on the right side. And the count is 0-1 on Coons.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellence, sportsmanship, and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Coons on the day has struck out twice. And the pitch is up high, way up high, to make the count 1-1. Both of those strikeouts that he had were on that slurve of James MacArthur, who threw the first 3 innings for the Commodores. As the pitch is down in the dirt and right back towards us up against the screen. Coons was actually the last batter that MacArthur faced before he was yanked at the beginning of the 4th inning by head coach Jeff Trundy. Trundy in his 19th season with the Commodores. 2-1 on the way to the righty swinging Coons. It's up high to make it 3-1. Of course, Trundy still looking for his first title. No title since 1980 for Falmouth, trying to break that drought. Came so close last year, lost to Yarmouth Dennis in the final. 3-1 pitch is swung, hit high in the air out to shallow center field. Steinmetz is moving to his left. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch, stepping back a couple of steps there to retire Justin Coons. Maybe the wind played some tricks on that baseball. The sun is also tough out there in that region as well. But in any case, it's a fly out to center for Coons. He's 0 for 3 on the day, and there's 1 away.
Well, earlier in the game, the wind was blowing out towards left field, out towards the scoreboard here at Stony Brook Field. Now it's kind of shifted towards center, right center even. You said it was shallow center field, but that ball carried a bit. The center fielder Steinmetz, like you mentioned, going back, taking a couple steps back towards the fence before eventually making the catch.
So here's Chandler Taylor with 1 away in the bottom of the 6th. And dropping in a breaking ball for strike number 1 is Eason to start off Taylor's at-bat. Taylor, as you mentioned, has yet to quite get it going in the Cape League season. The 0-1 is swung and hit high in the air toward the foul ground on the left side. So it's 0-2 now as he fouls that pitch off. Taylor today did reach base via a walk in the 2nd, flew out to left field in the 4th. That was Eason's first hitter. Lefty to lefty. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Just a bit outside to Taylor to make the count 1-2. Brewster, if you're keeping track, has left 7 runners on base in this game, but they trail 4-2. Those left on base numbers have been through the roof their first few games. 1-2 pitch in the dirt to make it 2-2 on Taylor. We saw it last night. What a terrific game last night between Brewster and YD. The Whitecaps trailing 7-1 after 4, 7-2 after 5, coming back to tie the game at 7. 2-2 pitch is just outside, and that was how that game ended. YD, of course, their stadium over in South Yarmouth doesn't have any lights, so they called it after the regulation 9. That's one of those games, and Jamie Shevchik said as much, and Scott Pickler in the other dugout said as much, where it doesn't feel the same for both teams, even though it's a tie. 3-2 pitch is hit well out to right center field. Steinmetz is looking up and turning, and that one is out of here. Chandler Taylor with a no doubt about it solo home run just turned on that ball and sent it out to right center field, and the Whitecaps have cut the lead in half. It's 4-3.
I wish Lower Cape TV could get a shot of my face right now because my jaw is on the floor. That ball was an absolute shot to right center field. Taylor knew it the second he hit it. Had a nice little bat flip there, and now it gets the Whitecaps within 1. I don't care about the win. That ball was getting... The only park that ball doesn't get out of is Yellowstone.
And Steinmetz knew it too out in center, and the right fielder Bikina as well. They just turned and watched that ball fly. Here comes the 9-hitter Hill. He takes a pitch in there for a strike, and boy, that's got to feel good for Chandler Taylor. You were talking about the little exuberance that he showed in the batter's box. Taylor, not usually the most emotional guy, but it's big. A guy that's used to hitting high-powered home runs, as it's 1-0 as that one dived away. And Darius Hill is now the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. It's now 4-3. Here comes the 1-1. That bounces in front of the catcher, Bro, to make the count 2-1. That's the first home run that we've seen from a Brewster Whitecap since we were in Katuitt back on Sunday in the second half of that doubleheader when Marty Costas took one deep. That was the only run of the game. The Whitecaps lost it 2-1. 2-1, that's up and in, as Hill had to dive out of the way, but is able to regroup. That's the sort of thing that might give some life to the offense. To finally get that big, powerful hit, of course, Brewster has been able to put across now 5 hits in this game, but that was one of them that was hit particularly hard, as that one's in there for a strike on the outside corner to make the count 3-2 on Hill. Looked like he was ready to toss his bat in the dugout and advance to first on a walk, but he'll get ready and reset. Eason working quickly. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Eason bounces back and gets Hill down on strike, so Hill strikes out for the first time. That's strikeout number 4 for Eason since he entered the game. 2 gone in the bottom of inning number 6.
And great bounce back at bat there by Easton, getting Hill to strike out. But I want to go back to Taylor. This year for Alabama, ranked 3rd in the SEC in home runs with 16, which led the Crimson Tide. When he was in high school, he set the school career record for home runs.
As Graffinino hits this one high in the air toward foul ground on the left side, giving it a look, is Bone, but it's out of play.
The amazing thing about that, though, sets the school career record for home runs before the start of his senior season. So did it in 3 years.
And this past year, 10 of those 16 dingers that you mentioned came against SEC pitching, so not a guy who's feasting on midweek arms. 0-1 pitch to Graffinino is just a bit high. 1-1 the count. The leadoff hitter for Brewster is 0-4-3. He was really coming in on fire at the beginning of this game. Here comes the 1-1. It's hit well out to right field. That's going to dunk in there for a base hit. So Graffinino is able to get on for the first time in this game. A hard hit single to right center, and all of a sudden it looks like the ball's popping a little bit more off the Brewster bats so far here.
Yeah, Graffinino there, he's too good of a hitter not to, it seems like every at-bat you expect him to just rip one into the gap for, at least a single, probably extra bases because of his good speed. But there got a fastball up. Easton left it above the belt. Graffinino got on top of it and just drove it over the head of the second baseman, Daniel, into right center field.
Now it's Connor Smith's turn. The Whitecaps second baseman has reached base twice and has a stolen base to his credit today. Graffinino's plenty speedy on first base, and Smith hits one high in the air toward the right side into foul ground, and that will make its way into the seats. The bleachers here over by the Falmouth broadcast team over there down the first base side. 0-1 is the count on Connor Smith. The Whitecaps trailing here 4-3. They have a run in this 6th inning on a no doubt about it solo home run from Chandler Taylor, who just turned on the ball. Runner on first base. Count is 0-1 on Smith. Easton deals. That one didn't have any bite to it. Count is 1-1 after you lift that pitch up. Easton, as we mentioned, the Virginia transfer, just wanted to get more playing time and get more of a rhythm. We'll see if he can get that on the Cape League this season. 1-1 pitch is down and in the dirt. Scampering over to make sure nobody advances was Bro, and no one does. 2-1 the count.
And plus, one of the things Easton talked about transferring to Seminole State is that instead of transferring to a Division I college, he didn't have to sit out a year due to the rules going to a junior college, so he could jump in and play right away for Seminole State.
Action in the bullpen as Ian Cook is warming for Falmouth. The pitch is in there for a strike to make the count 2-2 now on Connor Smith. Cook, the right-hander out of Western Illinois, taking his tosses down there on the first base side. Tad unusual here, the home dugout on the third base side here at Stony Brook Field. 2-2 is fouled away toward the right side. Giving chase is the first baseman McGowan, but he's going to run out of room. And the count remains 2-2 on Connor Smith. Falmouth 4, Brewster 3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Whitecaps get their 3 runs on a sac fly from Darius Hill, a single from Nick Dunn, and a homer from Chandler Taylor earlier in this frame. 2-2 is just outside to make the count 3-2. Taking a couple of steps off the mound there was Easton. He thought he got strike 3, and that was awfully close on the outside part of the plate. But it brings the count full, and that means that Graffinino will be running from first base here with 2 out.
You bring up the fact that the home dugout here at Stony Brook's on the third base side. That's actually the case in 7 of the 10 Cape League ballparks.
3-2 pitches down and in for ball 4. That one nearly got a piece of Connor Smith, but it's 2 on and 2 out, and Brewster threatening now as the speedy A.G. Graffinino is the tying run on second base.
Yeah, there's really, you bring up the speed, that's a very good point, because now a single from Bishop can tie this game up. If you have, obviously unbelievable player in Chandler Taylor, but he's a bit slower than Graffinino. Graffinino's probably got, if not the fastest legs on the team, up there, top 5 for sure. So there's really nobody else Jamie Shevchik wants on second base right now than A.J. Graffinino.
So here is Hunter Bishop. It's lefty to lefty. Easton still on the mound, and the pitch is fouled away. That pitch was in the zone right there for Bishop to hit, and he gives it a look around. Looks a tad frustrated with that he wasn't able to get some better wood on it. Count is now 0-1 on Bishop. Bishop has a walk and that's the only time that he's reached base in this game. 2 on, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch is fouled right back towards us. That was a breaking ball that looked like it was in the zone. So a couple of pitches to hit there for Bishop. but he can't get solid contact. We've seen that from a couple of the newcomers that have come in for Brewster. I remember when Travis Swaggerty was taking his first hacks with the wood bat. Swaggerty now back at Team USA camp, but entered the Whitecaps roster a tad early after the wet weather. And you saw a lot of that when he would come up empty. It's an adjustment period for sure for all these hitters. 0-2 pitch is fouled right back to the screen. That one looked like it got a piece of the mitt of Bro behind the plate. Very nearly was able to get a foul tip for strike 3. In any case, the count is now 0-2 on the outfielder from Arizona State.
Bishop actually taking off his elbow guard here. Interesting. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with it or just feeling a little bit uncomfortable with it on, but
maybe that's just trying to reset how he feels at the plate after a couple of empty swings. 0-2 pitch in the dirt, nothing to swing at there. Some good work here, I think, from Bro to keep everybody honest on the base path so far. There's speed out there. Graffinino is at second. Smith is at first for Brewster, who trail 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning, looking to tie the score and looking to prevent adding to their total of 7 runners left on in this game. 1-2 is low. That was a good pitch there from Connor Eason trying to get Bishop to chase again, but he lays it off. That evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bishop standing in as the shadows start to get a little bit longer here at Stony Brook Field. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's down and away, squirts away from the catcher, Bro, but he's able to scamper after it, so no advance. So that does make the count full with 2 outs, so now the runners will be going. And now a base hit would almost surely tie the score and could even give the Whitecaps the lead if Connor Smith gets a good jump over at first base. 3-2 the count. Big pitch here in this game. Lefty deals. Swing and a miss, he got him. That was a slow breaking ball up, and Bishop comes up empty again. He's frustrated as he takes off the helmet there. A tough at-bat for Bishop, and the Whitecaps failed to add to the home run from Chandler Taylor. The Whitecaps do get 1 run in this 6th inning. On 2 hits, they leave 2 runners on base. We are through 6 innings of play, 4-3 Falmouth. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and also live on YouTube.
Back to the top of the order for the Falmouth Commodores as Jonathan Stever deals a first pitch fastball that misses in the dirt to Hunter Steinmetz. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV, channel 99. Or streaming live on YouTube as Steinmetz lifts this one high in the air into shallow left field. Going back is Graffinino, but taking charge is the left fielder Hill, and he puts it away for out number 1.
Well, that one really got up there. That one looked like it went straight up, but was able to carry out to left field. We've seen a few balls. The ball's carrying well, it looks like, tonight. Nice job to take charge there and left by Hill.
That'll bring up the number 2 hitter Clayton Daniels, second baseman out of Jacksonville State. He's 1 for 2 on his evening. First at bat against the right-hander Stever, who pours in a fastball over the outer edge for strike 1.
I'm interested to see what Stever does. Obviously had a rough start to his outing.
There's a breaking ball from the righty out of Indiana, misses high, and the count evens 1 ball and 1 strike.
But then was able to recover, gave up 3 hits, and then struck out the side.
Pitch from Stever. This one lifted high in the air. Will stay in the infield. It's the catcher, Coons. And Stever calling him off, and he puts it away for out number 2. So for the second night in a row, Carter, we have a pitcher taking charge on a pop-up.
Yeah, we saw that in YD too. You're right, Aiden. That's kind of unusual. There was a bit of a hesitation there between Coons and Stever, and we heard Stever call for it. Coons kind of backed off. Usually that's either the catcher's ball or the third baseman's ball or someone who isn't the pitcher's ball, but Stever was able to grab it, showing some confidence here. And now he's retired 5 on the string.
That'll bring up Logan Davidson, shortstop out of Clemson, and number 3 hitter for Falmouth as he looks at a first pitch fastball from Stever over the outer edge for strike 1. Davidson 0 for 3 on the night with 3 groundouts, including 1 4-6-3 double play as he ropes this one into right field. Going back is Taylor. He leaps and he makes the catch. So a loud out for the Commodores, but they go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball right here on Lower Cape TV, Channel 99, and streaming live on YouTube. Back here at Stony Brook Field where the Falmouth Commodores have made a pitching change. But before we get to that, let's send it over to Koki Riley, who's got scores from around the league.
Thanks, Abe. Harwich has a 4-3 lead against Catuit from Willow Park. The Anglers have an 8-2 lead against YD from Red Wilson Field. As for the 6 o'clock games, Orleans and Bourne are scoreless from Doran Park in Bourne. And the Wareham Gatemen have a 1-0 lead on Hyannis from McKean Park. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Koki. And back here at Stony Brook Field, the Commodores hold a 4-3 lead over the Brewster Whitecaps. And like I mentioned, Connor Eason's evening is done. The lefty out of Seminole State heads back to the dugout for Falmouth. He was brilliant for the Commodores, except for the 1 home run that he gave up to Chandler Taylor. Now Ian Cook taking over on the mound for Falmouth. And he faces Nick Dunn, who looks at a first pitch fastball over the inner part of the plate for strike 1. Cook, a right-hander out of Western Illinois University, as this one's roped into center field. Coming on is Steinmetz, but that'll drop in for a base hit. So Nick Dunn picks up his 2nd single of the day to center field. He's 2 for 4 on the evening, and the Whitecaps have the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 7th.
Dunkin' Donuts and McCabe Cod Baseball League want to keep players and fans running both on and off the field all season long. Celebrate the summer of coffee at your local Dunkin' Donuts with their latest flavor lineup, including butter pecan, coconut cream pie, and s'mores. The final line on Easton, 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, gave up just the 1 run on the dinger from Taylor, walked 2 and struck out 5.
That'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Kyle Daughtris. He's 1 for 2. Came around to score after walking in the 2nd. As Nick Dunn leads off of first. This one roped into left field. Going back is Solomon. He leaps, and he makes the catch. What a play by Lee Solomon out in left field. He has had trouble finding his footing all afternoon out here at Stony Brook Field, but he makes up for it there with an unbelievable catch in left field to rob Kyle Daughtris of extra bases. What a catch by the left fielder out of Lipscomb.
That one might have saved a run. That was well up over the wall. Not sure exactly where he was in relation to it, if that ball would have been off the top or over, but in any case, a terrific grab out there from Solomon left field. And you're right, he made all those little missteps earlier in the game fade away. Terrific play. Wow.
That'll bring up Pete Schuler, first baseman out of Kent State, who looks at a fastball down and in, but went around for strike 1. Schuler 0 for 2 on the evening. Flew out to left and struck out looking to end the 5th. Bats here with Nick Dunn leading off of first base. 1 down in the bottom of the 7th. Throw over to first, but Dunn gets back safely. 4-3 the score here at Stony Brook. Commodores on top of the Whitecaps. It was 4-2, but a Chandler Taylor home run cut the Whitecaps deficit from 2-1. And now the 0-1 from Cook. Fastball misses high and tight, evens count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Cook is a Western Illinois Leatherneck, rising junior from Wonder Lake, Illinois. Had a 4.86 ERA in 16 games last season. All but one of those were starts. So traditionally, a starter for the Leathernecks.
Cook working from the stretch, deals the 1-1. This one chopped foul towards the Commodores on deck circle, so the count moves to 1-2. Cook standing 6'4", listed at 220 pounds. Just a bull out there on the mound. That's prototypical right-handed power starter size. He doesn't look that big, though, out there on the mound here from our vantage point. 1-2, runner goes, and the pitch hits Pete Schuler on the wrists, and he'll head down to first base. So the Whitecaps have 2 runners aboard. That's the second time today that Schuler has been hit by a pitch.
Second straight game that we've seen that, right? Where we saw Carlos Cortez get drilled in the ribs twice last night when the Whitecaps were playing YD, and now Schuler is unlucky. And I think they're checking over to make sure he didn't swing, and they do confirm he did not, so he will be on as the Whitecaps are setting up a pinch hitter here.
That'll be Michael Curry, the catcher out of the University of Georgia. Pinch hitting for Justin Coons, who was 0 for 3 on the evening.
So this will be interesting to see if Curry comes on just for the at-bat, or if he comes back behind the plate. And it's worth noting that Mickey Gasper is not available. He tweaked his thumb in yesterday's game.
1 down, runners on first and second for Brewster. Cook working from the stretch, deals a breaking ball to Curry in there for strike 1. So pitching backwards to the slugger out of the University of Georgia. Curry leading the Bulldogs in home runs as a freshman a year ago and as a sophomore this past season. Certainly has the power to put one out very easily here at Stony Brook Field. And I'm sure that's what Coach Shevchik is hoping for. Another sharp breaking ball from Cook over the inner half, and Curry's quickly behind 0-2.
That was a gorgeous pitch, righty to righty. I don't think Curry was ever able to really get a good look at that baseball. Had so much late movement and just wound up catching the inside corner. Terrific pitch from Cook.
0-2 the count on Curry. Dunn leading off second, Schuler off of first. Cook deals. Fastball misses high and outside, so the count moves to 1-2.
That's something to keep in mind when you see a pitch that moves laterally like that. When the baseball comes into a hitter, for the last half of its trip to the plate, the hitter can't really see the baseball at all. They might as well have their eyes shut. So if you can move it during that portion of its ride over, it can be really tough for a hitter to get a bat on.
1-2 the count on Curry. That's what made Mariano Rivera so great. This one moves in on Curry, but misses just a bit inside, evens count at 2-2.
You're right. That combo of having a lateral movement and that late movement, really one of the more interesting things in baseball. You talk about how it's a slow sport. It's real fast when you're staring down a pitch like that. You wish that you could look at it a tad longer.
2-2 the count on Curry. Big spot here for the Georgia Bulldog as he lines this one over the head of the second baseman Daniel and into right field. Coming around to score is Dunn. Schuler into third base standing up, and Michael Curry delivers in the clutch a pinch hit RBI single, and the Whitecaps tie this one up 4-4 here in the bottom of the 7th.
That's big for Curry. That's just his 3rd hit of the season and his 2nd run driven in for Brewster. That's what we've been talking about before, the big moments. Can somebody step up and get the hit to break it open? And Brewster is able to do that, even in the score. What a game, a back-and-forth affair here. We haven't seen the teams more than a run apart all game.
And now just the man that Jamie Shevchik wants to see come to the plate. Chandler Taylor digs in for the Whitecaps against the right-handed throwing Cook, who deals a first pitch breaking ball for strike 1. Taylor 1 for 2 on the evening. Homered deep to right field in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now it looks like
Perhaps a pinch runner?
A pinch runner. Looks like it'll be Devin Foyle taking over for Michael Curry over at first base, and he gets a nice hand as he jogs off of the field here at Stony Brook, as the Whitecaps fans realize that's the man who just tied the game up for their beloved Whitecaps.
So that's, you know, you were talking about Jamie Shevchik. Give him credit for pulling the string. He brings up a guy he thinks can get a big hit. He delivers, and now that answers my question. He will not be coming back out to catch.
0-1 the count as Taylor drives this one deep to left center field, and that ball is gone. Another home run for Chandler Taylor, and the Whitecaps take a 7-4 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. He can really do it all, as Chandler Taylor this time goes out to left center field, and the Whitecaps back on top 7-4 on another long home run by the Alabama right fielder.
And plenty of swagger on it, too. We saw a bat flip the first time he went yard earlier in this game, and that time the same there, a little bit more subdued, but over toward the dugout for sure. Knew that that was gone off the bat, and we've been waiting to see the power surge from Chandler Taylor. We knew it was coming at some point, and it has come tonight.
And now Darius Hill lines one into left field. That'll get down for a base hit. And it is the Whitecaps' 4th hit of the evening. They just keep coming against Ian Cook. And now it's back to the top of the order for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Nice job by Hill to come in and just reach out and get that pitch. We've seen a couple of nice pieces of hitting so far. I particularly like that hit specifically from Michael Curry. We're talking about how tough it was to read the breaking ball from Cook, and the next pitch was a breaking ball that he sent out, and then a nice homer from Taylor. Suddenly the bats have come alive here late in the game.
First pitch to Graffinino, off speed in there for strike one, and Ian Cook quickly ahead 0-1.
And boy, these past couple of games, it seems like the Whitecaps are a different team in the 6th inning on. We saw 5 runs in the 6th inning last night against YD, and now they've added 5 in the 6th and 7th combined here.
This one chopped weakly towards second. Charging is Daniel. He'll take the play at first and throws out Graffinino. Hill able to advance to second on the play.
Nicely done there from Daniel to charge that baseball up, knowing he was dealing with a speedy runner in Graffinino. Couldn't afford to make a mistake. Fielded it cleanly. Nicely done.
And that'll bring up Connor Smith, the second baseman tonight for the Whitecaps. 1 for 2 on his night. Came around to score after singling in the 3rd and has walked in his last 2 plate appearances. First pitch breaking ball from Cook in there for strike 1.
It'll be interesting to see who is behind the plate when Brewster gets back in the field in the 8th inning. With now Coons and Curry out of the game. Of course, you have Schuler, who's the first baseman right now. You can move him back there.
Cook working from the stretch. Deals another breaking ball. This one cut on and missed by Smith, and the count quickly 0-2.
There's some movement in the bullpen down the right field line for Falmouth, some arm circles, etc., but this is still very much Ian Cook's inning. Nobody's standing ready and waiting after this 4-run 7th.
0-2 the count on Smith. Cook working from the stretch, kicks and deals. Cut on and missed. He got it past him, but the Whitecaps do their damage. They put a 4 spot up on the board in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3 of them coming on Chandler Taylor's 2nd home run of the game. After 7 full innings here at Stony Brook Field, the Whitecaps lead the Commodores by a score of 7-4. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV channel 99 and streaming live on YouTube. Keep it right here. We'll be right back after this. Back here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts, Jonathan Stever back on the mound for the Whitecaps. He deals a first pitch fastball down and away to Alec Boehm. 1-0 the count on the Falmouth third baseman. 7-4 the score after a three-run homer by Chandler Taylor out towards left center field, his second of the game, as Boehm swings through a 1-0 breaking ball from Stever, so the count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. A couple of defensive switches here for you to be mindful of. Chandler Taylor, the man I just mentioned, takes over at first base for the Whitecaps as Boehm lines this one into right field. Moving to his right is Devin Foyle. He bobbles it a bit, but picks it up and holds Boehm to a single. I was just about to get to Devin Foyle. He pinch ran for Michael Curry, who tied the game up with a pinch hit single to right. Curry obviously being a catcher, Foyle being an outfielder. They moved Foyle to right field, Chandler Taylor, who was in right field, to first base. Pete Schuler, who was at first base, is now behind the plate for the Brewster Whitecaps. You got that, Carter?
And that's when listen, we've been talking about the drawbacks of having a catcher by trade at first base, but that's a benefit. You've got an arm that you can bring in, you got a guy that you can bring in and get a big hit, and you're not worried about taking your catcher out of a lineup because you got a guy who can come in and replace him.
First pitch to the number 5 hitter, Marty Bakina, misses down and away for ball 1. Yeah, there are so many catchers on this lineup and a lot of positional versatility for Brewster. We mentioned Connor Smith getting his third start at his third different position, as this one's roped down the left field line, but hooking foul into the Whitecaps bullpen. So the count moves to 1-2 on Bakina. Jonathan Stever, after getting rocked for his first 3 batters here in the Cape League, gave up a double, triple, and single, allowed 2 runs to score, has rebounded nicely, struck out his next 3 batters, then set down the Commodores 1-2-3 in the 7th before giving up a leadoff single to Boehm, as this one's lifted in the air in foul territory, but out of play after Taylor gives it a look.
The Sacred Cod Tavern at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is a quintessential New England dining experience for lunch or dinner, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
1-2 the count on Bakina, who is 1 for 3 on the day, had an RBI triple off of Stever back in the 6th. Stever working from the stretch, deals a 1-2, cut on and miss. Nice job by Schuler to hang on to that one, and Bakina goes down via the strikeout for the 2nd time in this ballgame.
It's been an interesting outing from Stever because he's billed as a guy who fills up the zone and tries to get soft contact, but not only does he have 4 strikeouts to his name, but he's given up some hard-hit baseballs as well. Gave up 3 to start his outing, and then 1 in the 7th inning off the bat of Davidson that was caught out there in right field when Taylor was still out there.
And now Willie Berger, designated hitter out of Penn State, one of the Nittany Lions, digs in for the Commodores. He lifts this one in the air, fouled on the right field line and out of play. 0-1 the count on the Falmouth designated hitter. Berger 1 for 3 on his evening. Grounded into an inning-ending double play to end the 2nd, then struck out swinging to end the 4th before an RBI single off of Stever brought in the 2nd run of the 6th inning. This one lifted in the air high and deep down the right field line, giving chase his Foyle, but that one drops foul out of play, much to the dismay of the Falmouth bullpen, who are trying to convince first base umpire John Leeds that ball was fair, despite it being foul by a good 25 feet.
The joys of being perched in the bullpen for that situation there. Foyle did a good job trying to run that down. It's another thing that Shevchik has, a kind of club in his bag. He's able to have a speedy outfielder to come in when he decides to pinch hit for Curry. So far, Shevchik has pushed all the right buttons in this game.
0-2 the count on Berger. Stever deals. This one lifted in the high in the air down the right field line. Looks like this one will stay in play. Chandler Taylor underneath it, and he puts it away for out number 2. Nice play by Taylor there, battling the wind, which is now blowing out basically to straightaway center field here at Stony Brook Field. Sun is setting over the third base side. It is the longest day of the year. It is the summer solstice, so happy summer, everyone. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I have, although the weather here on Cape Cod pretty much has been abysmal up until today. So thank you for that, summer solstice. This one lifted in the air, foul down the right field line by Jackson McGowan. McGowan 2 for 3 on his evening. singled in his first 2 at-bats and would come around to score on both of them before striking out swinging against Stever back in the 6th.
He really has been seeing the ball well so far today. And it feels funny, the first day of summer feels kind of belated here. It feels like the first day of summer is when the Cape Cod League starts getting going.
0-1 the count on McGowan. Fastball from Stever misses down and away. Count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. 7-4 the score here in Brewster. Whitecaps on top of the Commodores. After a 3-run home run by Chandler Taylor, his second of the game, put the Whitecaps on top 7-4. Stever misses inside with a fastball. Count moves to 2-1 on McGowan. And I think it'll be overshadowed a bit by the home run, but shout out to Michael Curry. Pinch hit RBI single. Tied this game up at 4 as the breaking ball from Stever finds the zone to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not the easiest thing in the world to come into the batter's box, just get a couple of practice swings and say, okay, hey, go tie this game for us.
And it was a great piece of hitting, and especially for Curry, he's a guy who's used to being in the lineup for his offense. He comes off the bench and does a terrific job.
2-2 the count on McGowan. Fastball from Stever misses just below the knees, and the count runs full.
And that's the sort of hit that I think Brewster has been lacking so far this season. Wouldn't you agree? And those key timely hits have been something that haven't come as often as maybe Jamie Shevchik would like in the first few games of the year.
We've talked so much about how Brewster has struggled with runners on base, as this one's lifted high in the air down the right field line. Giving it a look is foil, but that one will drop out of play. So McGowan stays alive. Count stays 3-2. We've talked so much about their inability to hit with runners on base, and just, like I mentioned, leaving 41 runners on base over the last 5 games. And Shevchik has said that they've had multiple chances, bases loaded, 2 runners on, whatever it may be, and no one has given them the big hit. Obviously, Cesar Trejo kind of broke that trend last night, but Chandler Taylor and Michael Curry doing it again today as McGowan fouls this one right off of the mitt of Pete Schuler, and so the count stays 3-2.
And now for Brewster, it's a matter of protecting this lead, because I'm sure they know after their comeback that they had last night, this game ain't over.
That has been a bright spot, though, for this Whitecaps team, the bullpen, whether it be Joe Demers, Paulie Milto last night for the Whitecaps, Zach Lingenfelter. This one hit high in the air out towards left. Coming in now is Hill. He camps out underneath it and puts it away for out number 3. So the Commodores get a leadoff single, but Alec Boehm could not get any further. After that, Stever sets down the Commodores in order, and no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. We've played 7.5 here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. Whitecaps still on top of the Commodores, 7-4. You are watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV, channel 99, and streaming live on YouTube. Keep it right here. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 8th.
Got a substitution, I think. Is it a pitcher?
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember to recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap. Did you know that, Carter? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's really cool. I think I'm going to take my bottles that I drink and I'm going to have an incredible amount of baseball caps by the end of the year. I mean, I don't think I could probably
Can
do
you
the
craft
process,
them into a... Oh, man.
I feel like that's what they do in like Lord of the Rings or something. They just take things and melt them down and then build new things. So,
Sounds like that. Yeah, alchemy, but with hats.
yeah,
Sure.
I think I could pull it off. 7-4 the score here at Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps on top of the Falmouth Commodores as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Commodores with a pitching change. Ian Cook's night is done. Derek Adams, left-hander out of Jacksonville State, takes over for Falmouth. And a first pitch breaking ball to Hunter Bishop is swung through for strike 1.
The line on Cook, just the one inning. 4 hits allowed, 4 runs, all of them earned. No walks and a K.
Breaking ball from Adams once again. Bishop chases down and in for strike 2.
Looks like Bishop has just been a little out of sorts in the past couple ABs. Wouldn't you say just waved at that pitch?
It almost seems like he's trying to do too much in his Cape League debut. Trying to, he obviously scouts here, trying to impress his new coaches. Getting a bit too aggressive out at the plate. As Adams misses outside with a fastball, count moves to 1-2.
And he's not alone in that. It's awfully hard to come out and debut in the Cape League, and Hunter Bishop is a guy who has afforded, some leeway in this situation.
1-2 count on Bishop. This one swung on and missed, and tagged out by the catcher, Bro. So Hunter Bishop goes down swinging for the 3rd consecutive at-bat, and there's one down here in the bottom of the 8th.
And those were pretty good pitches to start him off there. But Bishop was just not looking at him just quite right on those breaking balls. Like I said before, we saw it from Swaggerty. We saw it a bit from Steele Walker in his first game as well, though he was able to settle in and draw some walks after that.
Nick Dunn digging in now for Brewster. He looks at a first pitch fastball right over the outer part of the plate by Derek Adams for strike 1.
And that's one of the reasons why, this becomes a pitcher's league pretty quickly, is folks are still adjusting to the wood bat.
Dunn chases another high fastball. This one up and out of the zone for strike 2. 0-2 now the count on Dunn. He's 2 for 4 today. And he hits this one to third, backhanded by Bohm. Long throw onto first in time to get Dunn for out number 2.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Kyle Daughtris digging in now for the Whitecaps. His last at-bat, he hit a rocket out to left field, but an unbelievable play by the Falmouth left fielder Lee Solomon robbed him of extra bases, and he was really the only one in a sequence of about 6 batters that didn't get in on the action, and he was robbed of it. He probably hit, with the exception of Taylor, the best batted ball of them all. Breaking ball from Adams, missed down and away to Daughtris. 1-0 now the count as the lefty kicks and deals. Another off-speed pitch chased by Daughtris. Count evens 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I'm not so sure if we saw a really hard hit ball for Brewster before that home run from Taylor in the 6th inning, and then of course the explosion in the 7th. For the first 5 frames, it was tough going for them in terms of putting good wood on the ball. They were taking a lot of pitches.
1-1 pitch from Adams. Fastball over the inner part of the plate. Count moves to 1-2 on Daughtris. And we've talked so much about multi-sport athletes in this game. How about Kyle Daughtris? You talked about him being, runner-up to Mr. Pennsylvania football, as this one's roped down the first base line. A diving play by the first baseman McGowan for the 3rd out. So Kyle Daughtris once again robbed of another base hit. But quickly, what I was getting to, not only was he a great football player, he was also an all-state basketball player. His brother was a 4-time state champion baseball player. His sister was a 3-time gymnastics state champion, and his mother was the first woman ever to play 3 sports at Williamsport High School. Unbelievably athletic family. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning here at Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps just need 3 more outs to secure their 3rd win of the season. You're watching Brewster Whitecaps baseball on Lower Cape TV, channel 99, and of course streaming live on YouTube. Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here on the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness. Back here at Stony Brook Field, where the Whitecaps are just 3 outs away from securing their 3rd victory of the young season. Chris Mockmer making his Cape League debut on the mound for the Whitecaps, trying to close this one out. I believe it's the first save opportunity that a Whitecaps pitcher has this season. He'll face the bottom and the leadoff man of this Falmouth Commodores lineup. Josh Bro digs in and looks at a first pitch fastball, misses downstairs for a ball 1.
You're right about that, but this is the first save situation of the year. Only 2 wins for Brewster were 6-1 first couple of games of the season.
This one fouled off over the first base dugout and out of play. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Maybe if they had lights at YD Stadium, we would have seen a save situation. They called that game the tied score.
But we'll never know. Mysteries of life remained unsolved. 1-1 count on Bro. Fastball from Mockmer misses down and away. 2-1 now the count on the catcher out of McLennan Community College. Righty-righty matchup here between Mockmer and Bro. Mockmer out of the University of Kentucky, member of that Wildcats baseball team. Cut on and missed by Bro. Off-speed pitch really pulled the string there, so the count evens 2-2.
The line on Stever, by my count, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, gave up 2 runs. They were both earned, walked nobody, and struck out 4 hitters.
A really nice bounce-back performance from Stever after getting rocked by his first 3 batters. This one lifted high in the air down the right field line, but slicing out of play and foul, so the count stays 2-2. Bro struck out swinging in his first at-bat of the game back in the 6th inning. That one against Jonathan Stever. As Mockmer looks into his catcher Schuler, now kicks and deals the 2-2. This one once again fouled off, back out of play. And it looks like a nice play by a fan here at Stony Brook Field, as a lot of fans give that fan a nice round of applause.
It's been a great day to be at the ballpark. We've seen a couple of long home runs, gorgeous weather, a close game leading up to that explosion from the Whitecaps in the 7th.
2-2 count on Bro. This one once again fouled back and out of play.
And a lot of long at-bats.
That is for sure. Both teams doing a really good job working counts, working walks. Both starting pitchers really tested, forced to throw strikes. Higgins had trouble early on, missing high with the fastball often. And Mockmer now 2-2 pitch. Caught on and missed. Looked like Bro got a piece of it, but Schuler was able to hang on for strike 3. And it looks like Chris Mockmer earlier in that bat touched 95 miles an hour with a fastball. So Zach Lingenfelter isn't the only Whitecap who throws gas.
Friendly's Restaurants, a timeless tradition since 1935, is proud to sponsor the 2017 Cape Cod Baseball League season. Baseball and ice cream, 2 of America's favorite pastimes.
I know you and I have talked about this before. You're much more of an ice cream fan than I am.
I adore ice cream.
Not a fan over here, which I know is pretty much un-American, but fastball from Mockmer runs in on Solomon, who slides out of the way for ball 1.
That was a nice job to get out of that way of that baseball. Well, I thought for sure Solomon was going to get plunked there.
That one at 95 as well. Lee Solomon, the number 9 hitter for the Commodores out of Lipscomb University. It's 0 for 1. And now looks at an off-speed pitch.
Kind of a quirky delivery from Chris Mockmer. Has a little hitch in his windup when he gets going. Really a 2-pitch guy. Relies on that fastball that will sit mid-90s. This isn't a fluke what we're watching here.
Here's the pitch from Mockmer. Fastball there at 95. Mockmer really bringing the heat here in his Cape League debut.
Very typical of a closer. The arsenal that he has.
2-1 count. That one misses below the knees. Now 3-1 on Solomon. Missing with the fastball there was Mockmer. Three and 1 the count. Whitecaps 2 outs away from securing their 3rd win of the season. And the pitch, fouled straight back. 95 on that fastball from Mockmer. Always interesting watching the Bat Boys here at these Cape League games.
That
go
was
after
a
the foul
terrific.
balls.
That was a terrific effort.
I like the change of direction. He stopped on a dime there, picked up that baseball, and sprinted back towards the Whitecaps side. Payoff pitch from Mockmer. That one misses high, and Solomon heads on down to first with his 2nd walk of the ballgame.
Tried to work that from Solomon. Got a, shall we say, a wide variety of pitches. Got one that took him out of the batter's box, and somebody wasn't able to get contact on, and winds up getting a walk. And now the key is it's up to the leadoff hitter Steinmetz to get on base to bring the tying run up to the plate in the form of Daniel.
You mentioned it. Hunter Steinmetz digging in now for the Commodores. Leadoff man for Falmouth. First pitch from Mockmer. Breaking ball cut on and missed. Good movement on that one from the righty out of Kentucky. 2 RBI on the night for Steinmetz. One on a fielder's choice, another on a RBI ground out. 0 for 4 though.
Somewhat curious. 2 runs driven in, no hits.
0-1 the count. This one hit on the ground towards second, fielded by Smith, flips to Graffinino at second in time, throw on to first. Not in time, Steinmetz beats it out. And so the Whitecaps get the lead runner, but Steinmetz aboard. But now the Whitecaps are only 1 out away from their 3rd win of the season. That'll bring up Clayton Daniel, 2nd baseman out of Jacksonville State University. Number 2 hitter for this Falmouth Commodores team. Wears number 4 for the Commodores. Right-handed batter against the right-handed throwing Mockmer. Working from the stretch. Fastball there at 93. Misses downstairs for ball 1. One 1-0 the count on Daniel. 2nd baseman 1 for 3 on his evening. Another downstairs fastball from Mockmer. 2-0 now the count on Daniel. And you really don't want to let Daniel get on base and let Logan Davidson, who was a star freshman at Clemson this past season, represent the tying run at the plate. Wind blowing out to left center here at Stony Brook Field as Mockmer comes set, and the 2-0. This one lifted high in the air down to shallow right field. It's the 2nd baseman Smith calling off Taylor, and he puts it away for out number 3, and that is your ball game. 7-4 the final. The Whitecaps victorious over the Falmouth Commodores. 4 runs in the 7th inning. That was the difference. One of them on a pinch hit, Michael Curry, RBI single that tied it at 4. And then Chandler Taylor, who I really hope our own Maura Sheridan is able to get to talk to later after our quick break that's coming up in just a bit. He hit his 2nd home run of the game out towards left center field, a 3-run shot that put the Whitecaps up 7-4, and that would be the final. 7 runs on 10 hits, 1 error for the Whitecaps, 4 runs on 8 hits for the Commodores. Carter, I don't think there's really anything more that can be said about this game other than 2 words. Chandler Taylor.
Yeah, it was terrific. We've talked a lot about his power. I mean, I remember when we were doing the first few games of this season when he was going out in Hyannis, that ballpark that has that short porch out in right field, and thinking, man, this is a lefty power hitter. He can go for this. And he wound up scoring 2 runs in that game, but never really was able to put good wood on the ball, and now is able to get that win. Game-winning home run from that 3-run homer that he had, a 2-home-run game for him, and that's a ton of confidence. Because when I talked to him after that Hyannis game, one thing he said to me was that he's still adjusting to the wood bat, like a lot of the folks are on the team. We saw from Hunter Bishop today, he was struggling at the plate swinging. Maybe he can get a regaining of power like we've seen from Chandler Taylor today, but this is what Jamie Shevchik wants to see. He pushes the right buttons to send in Curry to get the game-tying single. Chandler Taylor, his power-hitting outfielder, comes in and hits 2 dingers, and then is able to play first base space for the rest of the game to allow that defensive shift that brought Curry into the game in the first place. Great team win for the Brewster Whitecaps, and the bullpen was excellent as well. This is the third or fourth straight game where the bullpen has been able to come in and put up zeros, and that's something that's so important in this league, to have a bullpen that you can rely on to come in and shut other teams down, because it allows you to get back into games like the one we saw last night and stay in games like the one we saw just today against Falmouth. A terrific win for Brewster.
Whitecaps still leave 10 men on base in this one, but it doesn't come back to bite them, and they even commit an error. So the two things that really they've struggled with thus far this season continue to be somewhat of an issue, but it really doesn't matter as they take this one 7-4. We're going to take a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll hopefully have more Sheridan with Coach Shevchik and hopefully Chandler Taylor. Back here at Stony Brook Field, where the Whitecaps move to 3-2-1 on the season. And that really comes thanks to a pair of Chandler Taylor home runs. The third member of our crew, Maura Sheridan, is with Chandler right now. Maura, take it away.
2 4-baggers today. What was working for you offensively today?
Just trying to see good pitches in the zone, stuff I could handle and put good swings on them. Me and Coach Smythe have been working the past few days, probably about the past week, just kind of trying to shrink the strike zone and get pitches I can handle and put short, compact swings on it.
2 games in a row of coming back down pretty big. What is it about this team and their willpower?
Well, we can hit, and when we play defense and we throw it in the strike zone, we're going to be able to play with anybody in the league.
A new guy, new addition to your team, Hunter Bishop. He struck out 3 times today. You've been here since the beginning. What kind of advice would you give him?
Not necessarily advice, just going to try to continue to pick him up. It's a long season, and he's here for the long haul, and, you know, like I told him today, he's going to be really good. It's just about making adjustments and being able to swing at pitches that you can handle, and he kind of got exposed today, but I think he's going to make adjustments and be just fine like everybody else.
All right, thank you so much, and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maura. Back here in the Whitecaps broadcast booth, that was Chandler Taylor, the star of the game for the Whitecaps. His 2 home runs, 4 RBI on the day. He went 2 for 3 with those pair of dingers. One of them that made it a 4-3 game in the 6th, and then a 3-run shot that gave the Whitecaps a 7-4 lead that they would eventually hold, and that would be the final. Other than Chandler Taylor, we talked about the bullpen. How would you assess Connor Higgins' performance out on the mound, getting the ball, his second start for Brewster this season?
Well, it certainly wasn't like when he came in opening night, right? Was really locked in for the 5 innings that he pitched there in Orleans. But he was able to make the best pitches, I think, when he needed to, I think is a good way to sum up what he did. We were talking about how he left a lot of fastballs up. The breaking ball wasn't always working for him, but he was able to, when he fell out of a groove, get back into it and really start mowing hitters down, especially in that first frame, and then got back into it in the 4th inning as well. Had a terrific inning, struck out a couple of hitters then too. And that's the sort of pitcher that Connor Higgins is. You know, one of the best qualities of closers like Connor Higgins is that they've got a short memory. You have to have a short memory if you're going to be a successful relief pitcher, and that's something that I think he brought to the mound today. If he didn't have his best stuff one frame, he was able to come out the next frame and be able to mow the hitters down again. So that's something that's good to see from Coach Shevchik's perspective, from a Whitecaps fan perspective, because in this league with so many great hitters and with some ballparks that are not the biggest around, it's going to be, you're never going to have all-time smooth sailing for the entire year, especially once the hitters start adjusting to the wooden bats. So the mentality, the poise, I think, are the biggest positive takeaway for Higgins.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that any coach appreciates in a pitcher, is that even when they don't have their best stuff, obviously Higgins not having the best ability to locate his fastball early on missed high a lot. Breaking ball was better than his fastball. But then even when you don't have your best stuff, being able to grind. He gave them 5 quality innings today, only 1 earned run. Again, 3 walks, so like I mentioned, didn't have his best stuff, but 4 strikeouts. So Connor Higgins definitely able to keep this team in the ballgame, and I don't think there's really anything more that Coach Shevchik can ask for. And speaking of Coach Shevchik, our very own Maura Sheridan is with Coach Shevchik right now. Maura, once again, take it away.
All right, Coach, home opener, a lot of fans here. How'd it feel to finally get back here at Stony Brook?
Great energy in the ballpark. You know, it's tough when you're playing a handful of games on the road, but when you finally get back home, you're playing in front of a crowd like